This is an explicit podcast where we try to keep the conversations as raw and authentic as possible with no intentions of hurting anyone. So if you're very woke, religious, or sensitive, we highly recommend you do not tune in.
Alright guys, episode 50, okay? Guest number 50, we've got Dr. Ingky in the house, the founder of Mediskin Studios, Skin Fix channel on YouTube. You may have seen him somewhere. It's really amazing, the growth. 3 years, right? Skin Fix has been running.
Yes. So actually SkinFix, we are a tech platform. We are a telehealth platform.
Yeah.
So we actually consult patients online. But what we realized that we don't want to do regular marketing. It's like, we don't want to put like marketing like, hey, you consult this doctor, you get $5 off, $10 off. We don't want to do that. So
Sure.
what we did was we went the other way. We said, hey, we're going to do something that nobody has tried to crack in Malaysia, whereby it's a skincare or a skin-related YouTube channel.
Sure.
So we want to grow it as fast as we can. So of course, I've tried doing YouTube personally
Yes.
since 2016, 2017.
Sorry, guys, just some context. Skin Fix has over 300,000
300,000
subscribers.
subscribers on YouTube in less than 3 years. Yes.
You know how hard that is?
Yeah. So we started posting our first video in January 2021.
Okay.
All right. Then by the end of 2021, we already hit 100,000 subscribers. It's about 2.5 years.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So by the end of the first year,
Yes.
we already have our silver play button, which was 100,000 followers.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the end of last year, we hit about 240,000 subscribers.
Yep.
So about 250,000 in 2 years.
Do you get another award?
No,
for...
unfortunately, you only get one when you hit 1 million. So our forecast is probably by the end of our fourth year, we should be able to hit 1 million subscribers.
I have to ask how big is the team behind this Skin Fix studio?
Oh, it's actually a very small team. We actually only have, I have 2 full-time video editors. That's it. Running the entire editing. And
Do they work on content as well?
Content, I actually work with them, but I would come up with the outline of the content first. They would do a little bit of research, and then we will compare our research, and then we just shoot. And I generally shoot without scripts. So we just have a skeleton outline, we shoot without scripts, and then we just go with the flow. And then they would then do their magic. They will cut and edit, stitch it together. Then they will post it on YouTube. But before going live, I will go through all the YouTube SEOs, see which SEOs do well. Now put it in. And
Oh, you
then we
actually
post it.
do. You actually pay attention to
YouTube SEOs.
Okay, I thought your videographers or editors will be handling that.
No. So one of my personal interests is I like social media marketing.
Okay,
All right.
SEO
I
stuff.
love social media marketing, and one of the things that I find very interesting with YouTube is it's actually a search engine. So that's
huge
why
one.
it's a huge search engine. It's one of
Yes.
the largest search engine in the world.
Yeah.
Hence, that's why, unfortunately, you like it or not, you have to put SEOs inside.
Yep.
So you need to employ SEOs, and you don't actually have to get someone professional to do SEOs for you. There's a lot of I would say plugins.
Yeah, TubeBuddy.
Yeah, TubeBuddies
Yes.
and all this, right? They can actually help you with SEO very, very easy, and
Yep.
they don't cost that. I mean, they do cost some money.
Yes.
But you can actually make it back really, really easily. It probably costs a couple $100 a month. But they actually can help you streamline the process much, much quicker.
Okay.
Then once you hit certain I would say certain growth, then you
Yes.
realize that all this actually make your life much easier. But I think the thing about YouTube and the reason why I like YouTube is it's a very difficult nut to crack.
Why
Like,
so?
Because a lot of people have tried YouTube, a lot of people have failed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, even I see like after like 7 years of having a channel, they got less than 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
All right, so it's not easy. YouTube is not easy.
It's really not easy.
Yeah, but the good thing about YouTube is once you crack it, right, you are there. All right, once you crack it, like it's
What do you mean by cracking?
I mean, it's like
By
example.
a certain amount of subscribers.
That means that I would say that means there's continuous growth in the channel,
Okay.
right? And
Yeah.
the growth is encouraging.
Yes.
It's not like, I grew 1 subscriber last month. It's like, hey, I grew a couple hundred subscribers last
Yes.
month. So it encourages you to move forward. It's like a snowball, like, you roll a small snowball
Yes.
from the top of the mountain. As it rolls down, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep.
So that's what YouTube does.
Yep.
And one thing I like about YouTube is it is there for forever. It's perpetual. Once you have a video on YouTube, it's there forever. If you have a video on, let's say, other social media, Instagram, TikTok,
TikTok
it drowns out. Even Instagram as well.
Yeah.
After 2 years, no one's going to see your content from 2 years.
Okay, I need to ask about that. So what you're saying is YouTube, as compared to other social media, TikTok, Instagram, they will still, what do you call that? Put out your video, recommend it to random people, whereas compared to Instagram, or after the first 2 days or when the peak is over, then it just dies out and they will not recommend it. So what you're saying?
Yes, that is right. So,
Okay.
example things like Instagram and TikTok, generally, whatever you post, there is a chance for it to get picked up by other people in roughly in the next 1 to 2 weeks. All right, so there's a window there. In the first 1 or 2 weeks, if it does well, it gets picked up by more and more people. But after 2 or 3 weeks, right, if it doesn't get picked up, right, or people don't really actually watch your content, it actually dies.
You're talking about YouTube, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This one is Instagram and
Okay.
and TikTok.
Yes.
So within the first week or so, if your content doesn't get picked up by the general audience,
Yes.
so TikTok and Instagram know this video is low priority. They will actually bury it.
Yes.
Right. So it means that your video would never see the light of day again. But YouTube is a little bit different. YouTube, you can put it out. Today, no one watched, never mind. Next month, no one watched, never mind. Imagine in 6 months, even 1 year time, suddenly, one of the topic that you spoke about suddenly became viral.
Yes.
Suddenly, your old YouTube video, right, can pop up 1 year after that, 2 years after that. And that's why if you go on YouTube now, right, you can see recommended for you, right, videos posted 6 years ago, 8 years ago, and it's still being recommended to you now.
Yeah, consistent, a lot.
Because what YouTube does is it actually finds what you're interested in and then give you all the videos that you're interested in, regardless of the timeline that it was posted on.
Is YouTube YouTube is under a different management than Instagram and
Yes.
TikTok?
Yes. So YouTube is actually under Google,
Okay.
but the way they run their algorithm is a little bit different. It's a bit different.
You mean compared to TikTok?
compared to TikTok and compared to
Okay.
to Instagram.
Yeah.
So because of that, I like YouTube because number one, there are no competitors to YouTube. Find me another platform that
Yeah.
people can watch 10-minute videos, 20-minute videos. Almost none.
Almost none. Yeah.
There's
I can't think
none
of any.
actually. There's
Yeah.
none. People have tried, nothing works.
What I've noticed, I want to know what you think, lah. In general, YouTube views has been going down in the last few years since the emergence of TikTok. Do you think that is that true? This is
I
just my
think-
observation.
right. So I think is this. I think that now YouTube has matured because YouTube has been around for more than 10 years already.
Way more.
It's-
15, I think.
Yeah, it's been around 15 years,
Yeah.
but I would say the first emergence of YouTube or the first so-called content creators of YouTube came out in the early 2010s. So
Sure.
so it's been around for roughly about 10 years plus really. It has undergone multiple iterations, changes a lot. It used to be a place where people post vlogs only, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, vlogs, right? Nowadays, no one does vlogs anymore.
Oh.
So
With
yes,
horrible resolution.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. Last time, bad resolution. You post every day, then they go viral.
Yeah.
But now it has changed a lot, and because of that, yes. So the amount of people using YouTube to watch, to be entertained, is actually lesser. But a lot of people are using YouTube to learn new stuff. If let's say if I ask you, hey, what's the number one website you go to learn about finance? Let's say I have nothing to know. I don't know anything about finance.
Okay.
Okay. So the first thing you do, yes, you will probably go to Google. Next thing you do is you likely go to YouTube and search. That's number one. Secondly, the biggest names on social media, you know them from YouTube. You don't know anyone from Instagram. Who do you know any big names from any social media or a social content creator from Instagram?
You mean who started out from Instagram?
I would
Is
say
it?
no. Do you know anyone currently in Instagram who is a huge social media creator and their job is to create social media only?
I guess so. But I mean, like celebrities, they are.
But
creating
they are
content.
celebrities, but
Yeah.
they use social media to advertise.
You mean
basically.
they started out? They got
well,
popular.
something like that. Let's say they are still a pure social media creator. They're not many. There are some here and there. They're not that many. But YouTube creators, the big ones are big. People like Mr. Beast.
Yes, Mr. Beast.
And he's still doing it. And he's going
He
strong.
must be inspirational to you
I would say...
because he takes everything down to the finest details.
Oh, yes.
Very closely. He looks very closely at the algorithm.
Yeah.
Probably the best at doing it. He and his team.
Yeah, he is probably the best at doing it now. So he is in trend now.
Yeah.
Everyone has their moments, one. You know, a couple of years ago, it was Casey Neistat.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Yeah. PewDiePie at one point.
PewDiePie at one point.
Uh-huh.
Now it's Mr. Beast. And eventually, Mr. Beast, his crown will be taken by someone else.
Yes.
All right. So there is an eventuality. But there are almost no social media creators in other platforms who have achieved the reach that YouTube creators have. Example, PewDiePie. Example, Mr. Beast.
Yeah. How many? Do you know how many subscribers Mr. Beast is at right now? I can't
Oh,
remember.
he has tons of channels.
I think 100. Yeah,
I
more
think
than 100 million.
100 over million. He did mention that his entire, well, all his companies added together are probably worth in the billions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you really want to make a living out of social media, the only way to go is YouTube. Right? That's the only way. If you really want to make a 100% living out of social media, that means that you don't want to work a single day in your life.
Yes.
You don't want to go back to a 9 to 5 job, and you want to do only social media.
And this is solely based on the YouTube money that they're paying you.
YouTube money probably pays you 20-30% of your total revenue. The rest would be sponsorships
Yeah.
and other
Okay.
stuff. Joe Rogan
Yes. My
started
favorite.
from YouTube.
Yes.
He started
Yeah.
from YouTube. He grew so big that Spotify signed him out in the multi-million,
$100 million.
$100 million deal just
Yeah.
to bring all the Spotify. Again, he got his start on YouTube. He grinded it out for the past 10 years. He
Yeah.
grew a huge following, and when he ported over to Spotify, everyone followed. All right. But you don't see that happening with other platforms like Instagram or TikTok. You don't see that happening. They do grow. Then after a while, they will generally move over to YouTube because they realize that that's where most of the sponsors are willing to pay. They're on YouTube.
Okay, this is actually the first time I've heard this school of thought.
Oh, there's plenty. There's
Okay.
plenty. Twitch streamers.
Yes.
Twitch streamers. I forgot the name of a guy, but he's the latest one. He also cut his Twitch streamer.
Ninjas, is it?
No,
the
not-
Fortnite guy.
No, not Ninja. There's one more after that. All right. He also started on
Okay.
Twitch. Now he has stopped Twitch streaming. He's moved to YouTube.
Okay.
100%.
Wow, you really I came to this podcast expecting to talk a lot about skin
No,
stuff, you know, but you
That's boring. That's boring, I tell you.
yeah, he said it, not me.
Social media is much more interesting.
Yeah, but okay, this is your forte, man.
Yeah, I
it's-
like it. I like it.
Okay. Let's rewind. Okay. We try the so let's start off with maybe you tell the audience a bit about your qualifications,
Right.
what you do.
So I'm an aesthetic doctor. I focus primarily in dermatology. So I treat a lot of acne, a lot of scars, a lot of and I do things like Botox and fillers. What I did was a long time ago, I started my own private practice, and from there I realized that.
Sorry, was that Mediskin?
Yes, I started a private practice called Mediskin Studio. So we only see skin. So what happened was I realized that I didn't want to buy TV ads. I didn't want posters. And as someone coming up in the industry, I could not get myself on TV interviews and radio interviews because nobody wants to interview.
You were trying
nobody.
though, right?
Yeah, I was like emailing people, you know.
Wow.
I was like, hey, do you want to? But nobody replied because I was a nobody. Then I realized that hey, in order for me to get some sort of recognition, I need to do it by myself. And social media was the easiest one because anyone can download an app and anyone can start posting. However, I also like a little bit of aspect of human psychology, whereby what captures people's interest. So that's what marketing comes in. You know, people like marketing because it captures people's interest. But for me, I like to see how people respond to certain things. So I started posting social media using my
Which platform?
clinics one. Instagram first.
Okay.
I started on Instagram because my main focus, my main demographic was the Malay market.
Which is you're talking about the Mediskin account,
Yes,
not your
for my
personal.
Mediskin account,
Yeah.
it was I wanted to target the Malay community because I found a gap in the market whereby no one was actually serving them. Right?
Yes.
In terms of skin and all this. This was back in 2015, 2016.
Oh, your Instagram for Mediskin has been
Yes,
since 2015.
2016.
Okay.
So I started out by doing the regular stuff, you know. I started by doing lasers, by showing pictures
Yep.
of. Last time was pure pictures, pictures of lasers. Then I would invite influencers over. I would just text them.
Yes.
Every day I would text 20, 30 influencers, and roughly about 5 would say okay.
Yep.
And out of the 5, probably 1 would turn up. But every day I would just text 30, 30, 30. Right? So my goal was I want to get 1 influencer per day through the doors so that they will post up.
Yep.
Now,
Do an
this was,
adder.
yeah.
Yep.
So, but this was back in the days whereby influencers were not paid.
They
2015,
weren't paid, so why would they?
2015, 2016, right? Influencers were not paid. They were given benefits in kind.
Like basically a discount or a free treatment?
Free treatment, free gifts. So generally most influencers, internet or Instagram influencers back in 2015, 2016 did not receive payment. And they never expected payment. They expected treatments. They expected gifts. They expected you to buy them meals. That's it. Right? And these are, and again, I target very small influencers. 10,000 followers, 15,000 followers.
Back then, it
50,000.
was something though.
Back then,
It was something.
Back then it was something.
Yeah.
Back then it was something.
What if you translate a 10,000 follower to today's numbers?
Well, they are
Do you have
probably
an
at
idea?
about 100K now.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, they're probably
Okay.
about 100K now. So I will text them. Some of them say okay. All right. Then they come in, do free treatment, and they'll post. All right. And then that's how I funneled followers into my Mediskin. All right. And then my business grew from there. So I think in 2016 I had like 100 followers. By 2018 I had almost about 60,000 followers on Mediskin Studio.
Yeah, the first year.
Yeah, within the first 1.5 years, right? Then after that influencer marketing became diluted. A lot of people who started doing it. Now influencers were asking for money because they realized their worth. The influencers started to realize their worth and they started to charge.
Yes.
And when they started to charge, that's when I decided I'm not going to pay. I'm a cheapo. I don't want to pay, even though I benefited a lot.
Yes.
If I start paying, then it's just going to get worse. I have to start paying everyone.
Yeah, it's not you're being cheap. It's not the most efficient, cost-efficient
it's not the
method
most
of growing your
cost-effective.
account anymore.
That is correct.
Wow, this is
That is
so
correct.
refreshing.
That's correct.
Okay.
Then in 2018, I made a bet with my friend. So my personal account, I had like 1 follower, which was my wife. Okay, so I never posted on anything.
Yeah, Dr. Ingky.
Yeah, on the Dr. Ingky one.
Yes.
So what I did was I had a wager with my friend.
Okay.
So my wager with my friend was I was trying to motivate them to start their own social media. I say, you have to start. As a business, you have to do it.
Did you influence Dr. Park as well?
Yes, I actually told him many times. All right, in 2016 onwards, he didn't take any action until 2020 or 2021.
I chatted with him yesterday briefly, and the few words that we exchanged, he mentioned I think 2 or 3 times dedicated, committed, which is you. It's referring to you. That to social media. I mean.
Yeah. So it was a wager with my friends. I said, you know what? Let's have a bet lah, or let's have a nice friendly wager.
Yeah. Which year was this? Sorry.
This was 2018.
Okay.
2018.
5 years ago.
Yeah. So I said, hey, let's try to get our followers up to 10,000. All right, from 0 to 10,000. Okay, we give one another 1 year lah. All right, so we did it lah. So we started. I won the bet lah. After a year, I had like 20,000 followers.
Wait. So as in you're supposed to who had the most?
No,
or 10K.
So all of us had like 1 or 2 followers. Some of them had like
Sure.
100 followers, which were like family members. We say, all these are pittance numbers,
Yeah.
small numbers.
Yeah,
I say, let's grow our personal ones to 10,000 followers. All right. Then whoever wins the bet, whoever loses, buy a round of drinks. They say, okay. Then we did 1 year.
Yeah.
So in 12 months, I think mine hit about 20K followers. Right. Then I just started to grow from there.
Your friend?
My friend, I think he was still stuck at about 1,000 followers.
Wait, you mean now?
Yeah, story now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's not for everyone.
It really, because it's okay. So I've met people with 500,000 followers, millions, right? They don't all talk like you. You know what I mean? They're not that crazy over the specifics of how the algorithm works or how to maximize exposure and growth and all. So it really isn't for everyone.
No, yeah, it's not.
Especially
it's
they're
not
not
for
interested. You know.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's actually a lot of analytics that you have to go look into. You don't have to be very geeky about it, but you have to look into it and why people watch certain things and why do they gravitate to certain content. Because for me, I know what are my downfall. I can speak, but I don't have the face for it. So, so unfortunately, like it or not, I have to speak better. I have to talk on sometimes on riskier subjects, things that people don't want to talk about.
I saw.
Yeah, we talk about sex, we talk about the all the sexual organs, just to tie in with real life stuff. But we're not talking about sex per se, right? So we have to talk a little bit on some of the risky stuff,
Yeah.
just to grow the exposure.
Well, it's fun for you as well.
Oh, it's fun.
For
It's fun.
change, right?
It's
You
fun.
know?
It's fun. For me, social media is like an experiment. All right, it's an experiment. You put it out, see what people gravitate to.
Yeah.
So I don't like it when social media influencers just stand and pose and take a photo and that's it.
I see.
Right? It
Yeah.
brings no value to the community. Yeah, you have a lot of followers, but it's not
Yes.
going to translate into anything.
Yep. You're talking about basically
Instagram models,
thoughts. They call
yeah.
it thoughts.
Yeah, Instagram models,
Yeah.
Instagram thoughts. Back in the days, there were a lot of people on TikTok, doing the
Dances
singing and
and all,
dancing.
yeah.
It's not going to translate to much.
Okay. I guess the time will come where they might actually feel that way as well. And then so let's say if you suddenly change your account's content, then you'll notice. Before I was posting thirst trap photos. After that, I'm trying to do insurance tips, and then you notice I used to get 10,000 likes. Now I get 100. Happens all the time. Then they have
Yes.
to rebrand, remarket, and basically you start from scratch.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Can I just understand a little bit about early on, like why did you choose aesthetics
Why
or
I like aesthetics.
yeah? I mean, you started off doing a general doctor degree.
Yes, we
right?
did general. Then I wanted to do dermatology. Okay, so long time ago,
Like, let's say even
way back, when I was first working in the government, I actually wanted to be a pediatrician, a child specialist, right? I want to specialize in children.
okay.
I like kids.
I love kids
I
too.
love kids.
Sure.
I was working in the hospital. I was posted in the pediatric department. I loved it a lot. I even pursued my specialist papers there. However, what I realized was it actually exerts a very heavy emotional toll on the doctor themselves, because you like kids, you love kids, or I love kids, but to see them sick and to see them frail,
Yeah.
it really carries a very huge emotional toll as on you. And what's worse is you see them pass away. All right. Sometimes it's difficult because a lot of times, your seniors will say, try not to bring home all this emotional baggage.
Yeah.
Leave it at the hospital, go home. But you can't. Especially when you've been trying to save the child for the past 2-3 months. And sometimes it seems like you are winning the battle, and suddenly the turn, the patient makes a turn for the worse and suddenly pass away. So it carries a lot of emotional baggage and a lot of something like post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we have to speak to the parents. We have to inform the parents that your child might not make it through the night, and then they'll be crying, they'll be asking, they'll be begging for help, and a lot of times you just have no answer for it. Then on top of that, I was also on the weekends I was moonlighting in certain private hospitals.
What do you mean by moonlighting?
I was,
Sorry.
I was doing locum. I was doing part-time.
Okay.
Right, part-time. So I will be in the emergency department, A&E department. So I will help manage the A&E for some of the small hospitals. And I realized that a lot of pediatricians, even despite being a senior pediatrician in private, they at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, they're in the hospitals. All right. So then I told myself, this is not the life that I want to live.
How long did you how long did you work as a
I think
general?
about 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years. So then I wanted something that I still feel fulfilled in, that I like, but at the same time does not require me to carry so much emotional baggage home. Then second one was dermatology. All right, so I like dermatology. So I did a lot of courses on dermatology.
What is it about dermatology?
Oh, a lot of people come to you with even though skin problems it seems very superficial. I mean, it's pun intended, it's superficial.
Yeah.
Right. However, sometimes a lot of skin issues, right, actually make people feel very self-conscious and reduce
The
their
psychologic-
self-esteem.
yep.
Yeah, reduce their self-esteem. And a lot of patients with chronic skin problems, example, acne, psoriasis, eczema, they actually have underlying depression. Because, yes, a lot.
Of course.
Because for them, especially if all these skin issues are more visible on the face, on the arms, it's actually, a lot of them, they have undiagnosed depression, or even some have diagnosed depression.
Yeah.
And for you to just help them ease their problem, actually will help them regain the self-confidence.
Yep.
And then it will actually translate into better sleep, better family relationship, better work-life balance, better skin as well. So just by improving their skin, you actually change multiple aspects of their life, and then they will come and thank you.
I mean, just simply looking at your account the past few days, right? First of all, I did not expect a dermatologist to have that amount of followers, right? Sure, maybe you really do pay so much attention to the algorithms and how it works, but there has to also be a existing market and interest to it. Then I thought about it, these people who are engaging with you and all, they are facing this sort of issues.
Yes, correct.
So that's why they're so emotionally attached to your advice. They keep wanting to see any latest tips or whatever that you have on it.
Yeah, that's correct. So with the rise of social media, of course, one of the medical specialities that benefited a lot from it is dermatology. Right. So because in dermatology, we can give medical advice, whereby a lot of times they can actually do it by themselves at home. So basically, like 90% of the medical advice that we dispense to our patients in the clinic, they can actually do it at home by themselves.
Yeah.
They don't actually have to come and see us in the clinic.
Yeah.
So because of that, by dispensing all this advice online, people would feel grateful, and then they'll follow you back. And then they'll forward your profile to family and
It's
friends.
free consultation.
It's free consultation.
Free advice.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Let's talk about the most common ones. Okay? I'm sure you know where I'm headed. So very common amongst, I guess even more so amongst teenagers, acne, right? What is acne? Where does it, how does it come about? And why do people get acne?
All right, so acne is actually an infection of the pores. So on our face and our body, we have pores everywhere. So acne is actually an infection of the pores. So acne occurs due to two main things. First is increased oil production or sebum production of the skin. And secondly is this sebum production leads to activation of a bacteria that causes acne.
Sorry, what do you mean semen?
So sebum.
Sebum.
Not semen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Sebum.
Sorry.
So sebum production. So sebum production is the natural oil on your face, on your body. So the excessive oil will trigger an activation of a particular bacteria called a P. acnes bacteria. So there's only one bacteria that causes acne, all right? And this bacteria is called P. acnes, ACNES.
The scientific name.
Yes, the very geeky name for it.
Yes.
So this particular bacteria is activated when you have too much oil on your skin.
Oil.
Yep.
Okay.
So when it triggers, when you have these two combined, sebum
Yes.
with bacteria,
Yes.
you get acne.
Okay.
All right. So there was a poll done, or I would say there was a study done in Malaysia, in I think the early 2010s, in Malaysia.
Sure.
Roughly 90%
Yes.
of all adult Malaysians have had acne in the past or are suffering from acne at the
Yes.
current prime time. 90%. So basically, it's the most common skin disease that we actually have.
Is it called a disease?
It is a disease because it's treatable.
Okay. So this one I'm definitely curious because you have an interest in dermatology and you mentioned the psychological aspect of it. Did you yourself have bad acne problems?
Oh yeah, I had bad acne problems, but not on my face. I had very bad acne problems on my chest and my back.
Oh, chest. Back is the second most common place,
Yes,
right?
back is the second most common place. So when I was 15,
Yes.
when I was in secondary school, what happened was I started getting a couple of acne on my chest. Then within about 1 to 2 weeks, right, the acne spread throughout the entire chest and then my entire back. Then I had to see a dermatologist.
Yes.
I had to take medications, I had to apply creams, and then it took roughly about 1.5 months for it to resolve. But what happened is, during that time when it was happening to me, I felt very self-conscious.
Of course.
Really self-conscious.
Were you active in sports?
I was active in sports. I was playing basketball and football. So imagine every time after PE, right?
Yeah, you're gonna
physical
take off-
education, you need to take out your shirt to change, ma.
Yeah.
When you take out your shirt at 15 years old, take out, and suddenly you get all these pimples.
Yeah.
And it's not like one or two, it's like easily hundreds all over my. It's really
My brother
bad.
had the same thing.
Really, really bad. Hundreds of pimples
All
on
over.
my chest and my back.
Yeah.
People ask me, what happened now? You got some funny disease and all.
Yeah, and the jokes start.
Yeah, I tell you, my self-confidence really dropped. And on top of that, once the acne disappeared, it left scars, which took another 1 to 2 years for it to subside.
But 1 to 2 years is okay.
Yeah,
a
because-
bit shorter than I expected.
Yeah, because what happened was, I didn't pinch the pimples. So luckily, there wasn't very deep scars, but it was red.
So you would feel constantly itchy, is it?
No, I didn't feel that it was constantly itchy, but what happened was the entire chest was red. My chest and my back was red for 2 years,
Like when you say red, you mean red in between all the acne?
Yeah, but my acne was so bad, right, that it was just basically my whole chest was red. Because I had that much acne. Really bad acne. To when my friends saw it, they freaked out. They thought that I had some cancer or something like that.
Okay. Wow.
It was really bad.
Okay. So you went to a doctor.
I went to a doctor.
Yes. How
yeah.
did that all go?
Yeah, I went to a dermatologist.
Yeah.
He was, even though he was really busy, he was kind enough to explain to me, sit me down for at least 10-15 minutes, explain to me what acne was, how it occurs, and what can we use to treat acne. And I actually felt very grateful because he actually took his really, limited time
Yes.
to explain to me.
Yes.
Right? Even though, because, it's something that he see day in, day out, he could have just said, hey, you know what,
Yeah.
this is normal, just take the medication and go home.
So a lot of people might not even listen to your advice.
Yeah. But he sat down, he explained everything. He actually took out a book from his bookshelf, opened it up, explained to me all the intricate details of acne. And I found out that just because he communicated that particular
Message.
message in such a simple way,
Yeah.
when I started
Oh my God.
my journey as a doctor,
Yeah.
I realized that I want to do that as well.
I need to ask now. Have you ever spoken to him since or?
No.
Yeah, because-
he's old. He probably passed away a long time ago.
Oh.
He probably passed away a long
No,
time ago.
but isn't it so like I always find it very cool when you date things back to, especially teenage years, right? And then to where you are right now and the choices that you made in life. That's why I'm thinking like maybe he's actually seen your videos or
Yeah, I
something.
hope
or
so.
what.
I hope
I don't
so.
know, but it will be hard for him to remember.
It would be hard for him to remember. Oh, yeah, because he saw me for 15 minutes and that was like easily
But it meant something to you,
20
you know?
over years ago.
Like as a kid, it meant something a lot to you actually at that time. Also because you probably took it very seriously. You followed all the things that you were supposed to do, and eventually you say it took how long for the whole?
So his consultation was only 10 minutes,
Yeah.
but within the 10 minutes, he communicated the problems very well.
Yeah.
He communicated the treatments very well as well. To the point whereby as a 15-year-old, I could understand. Right? He didn't use like big bombastic words. He used very simple terms. And then he wasn't rushing. Sometimes some doctors really busy. They tend to rush. He wasn't rushing at all.
Okay, do you by any chance happen to know Dr. LP Tan?
LP Tan, yes.
Oh my god.
I know.
So now I'll tell you my experience with a dermatologist. Is she considered a dermatologist?
Yeah, she
yes. So this is, you know her as a friend or were you a patient last time? or-
No, I've met her before in conferences.
Okay, so just right down here in Taman Tun, she has a clinic. She's been around in Taman Tun for 20 years already, 30 years I think. This is my experience with her, right? First time I went to see her, I was 15, perhaps, somewhere in high school. So I still remember it's me sitting down there and she's just lecturing me. From the moment I come in, she's already lecturing, telling me like, why got all the pimple? Because you sleep so late, right? Eat all the oily food, all sugar, everything. And then what you do? Go smoke with your friends, everything, is it? See, that was back then, right? I went to see her again a few months ago because I had a wart. On my feet. It was the same. The exact same things she was saying. I couldn't believe it. I almost wanted to tell her like, yeah, I know you don't remember me, but I remember everything you said. I always find that hilarious, So, you know when you have a wart, right? Is it considered like a little growth?
Yeah, it's like a growth on the skin.
Yeah. And what do you call that thing that you actually put on it? To
Yeah,
treat
so
it?
there's actually a few things you can do. Most of the time, you actually put a form of acid on the wart.
Acid.
Yeah, it's actually a form of acid, right? You can actually put on the wart.
It's like
and
an
it actually,
icy feeling.
Yes, correct. So it actually goes into the skin and then it actually kills the wart.
What sort of acid is that?
It could be either salicylic acid or there's another medication, I totally forgot the name for it. But so what it does is it actually deactivates the virus causing the wart. So warts are actually due to virus, right? There's a special virus that causes the warts to grow. So it actually kills off the virus.
It's transmittable, is it?
It is usually it's not transmittable. No,
Okay, very rare.
very rarely you transmit.
Yeah. So where do people come about these the
Right.
virus?
So usually there will be a crack or break in the skin. So when
Yes.
there's a break in the skin, then the virus gets to go into the skin.
Yes.
So a lot of times warts, people get it over areas with friction. The soles of the feet. All right.
Yeah.
Sometimes at the places they have they wear their underwears, over the fingers as well. Yes.
Yes.
These are very common areas.
Yeah.
These are places with friction. Whenever there's places with friction, there is a chance there's a tear in the skin, and then the virus can actually get into the tears.
Okay.
Mm.
So places it will be commonly the gym, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Common
Could
places.
be the gym. Yeah.
Okay. Because very sweaty. Yeah.
Mm.
I used to go to an MMA gym, so MMA gym especially a lot of physical contact.
Yes.
So there's
is
people often
possible.
get staph infections.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
It is possible.
Yeah, we went way back to in high school. So yeah, the reason why you picked this path because you had something.
Yeah. Then after that, then I wanted a better life for myself, and then I then discovered that this was back in like 2012, 2013, that there was a growing field.
Do you mind telling more
Yeah.
about the high school times? Why did you decide to study medicine?
All right, why I
Yeah.
started to study medicine.
Yeah, your confidence
Oh,
issue, a
okay.
lot of things. Man. I'm very
Right.
interested.
So I actually didn't want to be a doctor, to be honest, right? When I was like from 5
Sure.
or so, I wanted to be an engineer. All right, I wanted to be an engineer. I was grateful to my dermatologist, but I wanted to be an engineer, just like my dad. My dad's an engineer. I wanted to follow his footsteps.
Okay.
Yeah. So at Form 5, my dad told me, "No, you're not going to be an engineer."
Why?
All right, because he lived a hard life as an engineer.
Okay.
So he told me, the grueling long hours, and then it's very competitive.
Yeah,
So he told me that don't be an engineer. If you want to be an engineer, you find a way to fund yourself to become an engineer.
Yeah, he just didn't allow it.
Yeah, I
basically.
said, I'm not going to pay for any sort of education to allow you to be an engineer.
Oh dear.
I was like, huh?
Huh?
Yeah, I say, yeah. So then I was like, but then what's the next best choice? I say, okay, the next best choice is then to study medicine.
Did you grow up in Damansara area here?
I grew up in Damansara Jaya.
Okay.
I studied in DJ.
Oh, you studied in DJ high school?
I didn't study in DJ. I studied in a private school, Sri KL.
Yeah.
But I stayed in
Cool.
Damansara Jaya. Oh, you studied in Sri KL as well. Right. So I studied in Sri KL.
Yes.
But I lived in Damansara Jaya for a very long time until I was 18 years old.
Your dad, I don't know, maybe your dad didn't realize that a lot of parents will be happy if their kid is actually able to study, to be an engineer, qualify.
Yeah, so I was actually qualified. So in
Yeah, of
college, right, I applied for engineering course, Australian universities. I was actually awarded, I was actually given like a partial scholarship in Melbourne.
Oh, you were in Melbourne as well?
No. I wanted to go there.
Okay.
I wanted to go. So I did South Australian matriculation. So I wanted to go.
SAM.
Yeah, so I did SAM. So I applied. I got like a partial scholarship, but my parents were like, no, I'm not paying for the other half. I was like, how? So what's the next best thing? So my dad said, hey, why don't you do medicine? And that was my second choice. My second choice is, hey, if I can't do engineering, then I'll take a medicine.
Were they pushing the medicine field like since high school?
Kind of. They were like
Why?
they were like drilling in my head. Doctors are good. Doctors are recession proof. Doctors are good. Doctors make a lot of money. Then I realized
Long
doctors
hours,
don't make
though.
money. Yes, the long hours. So I think that's the thing that a lot of parents don't see. It's the long hours and the dedication needed to become a doctor, right? They see the end of the tunnel. Hey, wow, this doctor, so and so doctor drive big car lah, stay big house lah. Yeah, but the doctor doesn't have time to spend his money.
Yeah. Hey, really, right? I've always, when I was young, I've had this idea in my head that a fresh grad doctor would minimum get about 10 to 15, which is not the case.
It's not the case.
Yeah, so I don't know
Not the
why.
case.
I've always been
It's
drilled
not,
in my
it's not the
head.
case. I can tell you my starting wage when I started in 2000. I started working in 2007.
15
right?
years ago.
Yeah,
16,
16 years ago, right? My starting wage, my take-home salary was less than 2K.
What the fuck?
My take-home salary was less than 2,000 after deduction of EPF lah.
But
Was
okay,
less
right,
than 2,000.
right now it's about 4,000, 5,000.
Now I
right?
think
5,000, I
take home is about 3,000 plus. It's still relatively low. Back then, I was really living paycheck to paycheck, because you get the money, you
of
pay for
course.
your car mortgage, and then you give a little bit of money to the parents, and sometimes you go out on the weekends, then the money is gone.
Yeah, imagine about people right now.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
Yeah. But it's funny, right, that people always justified studying, paying the crazy fee, right? The crazy amount that you have to pay for the degree, the medical degree, with the fact that you're going to be earning a lot already from the start. But it's not the case.
No, that's not the case. And a lot of times, being a doctor actually doesn't translate to riches. Yes, it does give you a more stable profession. That means that you are always in demand. You will always be employed. But it doesn't mean that you're employed with high wages.
I think maybe another reason why doctors are usually financially stable or not in need of help is because they're probably too busy to be spending that money as well.
You are right.
Right?
You are right.
Right.
Yes, most doctors I know work roughly on average 10 to 12 hours per day. That's on average, 10 to 12 hours a day, not including meal times, right? Not including your lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
You work roughly 10 to 12 hours a day.
You're talking about the ones in the general hospital.
General hospital, the ones in private practice, all of them.
But it's common that they do like 36-hour shifts.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot. So back a long time ago, I won't say long time ago, even as simple as 5-6 years ago, doctors are still doing 36-hour shifts.
They didn't do it anymore?
Nowadays, the senior doctors do it, the juniors don't do it. Because now there's sufficient junior doctors whereby they do not require to do the long shifts. Now, the long shifts were there because there were insufficient doctors. It was a flawed system.
It's still insufficient doctors, right, as we speak.
Yeah. So now the junior doctors are sufficient, the senior doctors are still insufficient. So the senior doctors are still doing 36-hour shifts, 48-hour shifts in a row. It is a very bad system, flawed system, right?
But there's no choice, I guess.
Yeah, it's no choice. It's no choice. It's considered as emergency services. If you don't work, there's no one else to work. Yeah, but the Brits, I blame it on the British. They left this system here. We just adopted it and we just ran with it.
But if it weren't for that system, do you actually have an alternative solution in mind?
No, actually no.
No, right?
Unfortunately, no, because it's lack of manpower lah. So basically, not enough manpower. What you do, you just overwork the current ones.
Yeah. I spoke briefly with Dr. Park also about this. He mentions, and every time when I speak to a doctor, I just want to know, like, how do you guys rest during the 36-hour shifts?
So that's where teamwork comes in. Teamwork is really important, because definitely, yes, you are working 36 hours, but you are not alone. The hospital is run by teams. So you have the doctors, then you also have the nursing staffs. So the nursing staffs, they don't work 36-hour shifts. They work 8-hour shifts only. So the nursing, So nursing staffs, and below the nursing staffs, you have support staffs, right? So basically, even the nurses themselves also has help. So it takes an entire team to run. So you are like team leader. You are team leader. You make the big decisions. You make the final decisions. But the day-to-day running of the hospital is actually run by nurses and all the support staffs.
You mentioned that after 5 years as a general doctor, and then you made the switch to dermatology. How did you go from then on?
Yeah. So then I prior to that, I was invested a lot into pediatrics. So I studied everything about kids and everything. So now
basically you were taking there's a course that you had to do.
Yes.
You were already halfway in the
course. So I was like halfway through already. I just needed to go to UK and finish it. Now I have been a child specialist, but I couldn't bring myself to. I was saying no, don't wanna. I was like, enough is enough.
Was there a turning point, or it was a gradual?
It was a gradual thing. So there was one time, I remember a long time ago, the next day I needed to go for my on-call, which was the 36-hour shift. And I just broke down. I sat in my room, I was crying, I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, I can't do this anymore. right? I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I just can't do it anymore. It's not because I didn't like my job. I love my job. Whenever I went to my job, I loved it.
Okay.
I hated the feeling that would bring back. Again, I would bring back negative emotions, right? I would have within the 36 hours, I would have seen a couple of babies die. I've spoken to a couple of parents about their kids having serious brain damage. I would have gone through all those. Then I would gone back with a huge emotional baggage. Then I realized that I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah. Hey man, you tell when you tell regular people this. I mean, first of all, there's not many doctors. People just can't really relate. Right? I'm trying my best now to relate, but I really can't imagine. It's horrible.
It's difficult. It's very difficult, and nothing prepared us for this. Because we studied facts, all your medical books, we studied facts. We studied how to talk to patients, but we never studied how to...
No psychological preparation training.
Yeah, we never studied how to manage grief, how to actually grieve with them. And also, Asia, we have this taboo whereby we don't talk about all the sad stuff to like psychologists and all. It's not like America.
Psychology is a taboo.
Yeah, psychology is a taboo. Right? If you have anything negative, you suck it up and you man up. If you don't, then you're a wuss.
If you let it be known,
you're a wuss.
You're gonna get sent to Tanjung Rambutan. So you better not tell people about it.
Correct.
Like any mental health or whatever.
Yeah, correct. So at the time I was looking at dermatology and I saw this field. There was a field of dermatology growing all over the world, which was relatively new in Malaysia, which was the aesthetic dermatology side. That means that the use of things like lasers to treat skin problems, which was, according to dermatology, there is very little in our books, and Malaysian dermatologists don't actually do that last time. So I started liking technology, using technology to help
for
current
treatment.
patients. Yes, for treatments. Then I started diving more into it, doing more research, doing more reading, attending more meetings and conferences by myself. Then I realized, hey, I want to do this. And I didn't know that it would be a big thing in the future. This was 2012, 2013.
Dermatology?
Yeah, aesthetic dermatology. I didn't know it'd be a big thing. Like now, if you talk to anyone says, yeah, I just did a laser. It's like a regular
Sorry,
thing.
which year was this where you actually
2012.
committed to the
2012.
Yeah, that's a long
Yeah,
time
2012.
ago. 11 years.
Yeah, so at the time, even Dr. Koh was starting just to make his name only.
Who's Dr. Koh?
Dr. Koh is this very famous dermatologist in Malaysia. He has like 20 over branches now. At 2023, he has 20 over branches now. But back then, he had like 1 or 2 branches only.
Wait, when you say famous, right, you mean not on Instagram? Or?
No, he's not on Instagram.
That's you, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's just me. but there are billboards everywhere of him.
Yeah.
So
Shit.
yeah.
I mean, do you ever brief that? Take a moment to brief that in, like, to let that sink in.
What's that?
Most popular dermatologist.
My wife actually.
What does she say?
So I think it was like 2019, 2020 lah, before the pandemic. Even after the pandemic, actually after the pandemic, my profile grew even more. So whenever I go out, people will recognize me. They will come by, they'll take photos.
A lot of Malay followers,
Malay.
right?
Yeah, they'll say hi. And my wife will like, oh, I cannot go anywhere without makeup now. so she, like, example lah, we go to the park, we go jogging.
Yeah.
Takkan you wear makeup to go jogging,
course,
right?
yeah.
Right. But there's a lot of times that's where I meet some of my followers.
Yeah.
My wife is like, oh my god, cannot lah. Because a couple of times she didn't comb her hair, she didn't have makeup. Nowadays she go out everywhere, she wear makeup. Whether it's to go to the pasar to buy vegetable or to go pick up the kids, she said had to wear makeup.
She's
now.
doing it for you.
She said, she said like, oh yo, that's what she said. She said, oh, I cannot be seen with you looking so terrible.
Yeah. Actually, it's for her, but she'll
Yes.
say it's for you.
Yes. But it's fun.
Hey, but really, it's such a interesting time that we live in that you never would have thought, I assume you're in your 40s, right? Or in at this age that you will suddenly become a public figure, right? For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's happening.
Yeah. So last time, in order to be famous, you must be a singer, you're a TV actor.
So little routes to
Yeah,
get there.
there's
Very limited.
actually very, very little ways to actually get there. But now, there are famous doctors, there are famous everyone. There are famous bankers, famous financial advisors, famous insurance agents. That's you can be famous in your field now, lah, with the use of social media.
I'm still very small, right? Very small podcast, and I've actually bumped into people that I have no idea who they are, and they actually tell me about. It's happened a few times, but it just shows, it's so small, such a small podcast. I would imagine for yourself, do you ever travel to the outer states?
Outer states,
yeah, often.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so probably more people notice you more in the outer states.
Yeah,
is that true?
Yeah, they do. Especially if I go to places like Pahang, Kelantan, Terengganu.
Yeah.
People there recognize me more.
Yeah. Okay.
I think last year, I went to end of last year during Christmas. I went to Sabah, to Kota Kinabalu.
Yeah.
So I bumped to some followers there as well.
Yeah.
I was lining up for something. They were like, "Hey, aren't you that so and so doctor?" I said, "Yeah, I am." And then a couple of them were actually not even from Malaysia. They were from Brunei.
What?
Yeah, they're from Brunei.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
Bruneians.
guess.
They will say, "Hey,
Yeah. They
I
kind
know
of,
you from here." Yeah.
because Brunei is so small.
Yes, Brunei is small.
Maybe they only have 10 content influencers.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
they
know.
probably have- they probably don't
Brunei is very small. Okay,
Yeah.
how did you start up Mediskin
Yeah.
Studio?
Yeah. Then I.
So
then-
2012.
So it was roughly about 2012, 2013 that I wanted to jump a little bit into private practice lah.
Yeah,
Do
launch
a
your own
little bit,
private
launch my own private practice, and I did. And at the same time, when I started it, it required a lot of education lah. Basically, it required me to tell people what are lasers, what are chemical peels. It's still fairly new to a lot of people.
Can I ask the process in, let's just say, launching your first your first clinic? What was the hardest part or the challenges?
Oh,
So many.
because last time
Yeah.
I never knew that I needed like some business plan or what. I just
Yeah, you
put
thought,
money,
you thought you
renovate.
get a license, then can
I get a license. I just start running, sit and
rent
wait
a
for
shop,
patients.
then can already.
Just sit and wait for patients. Then I realized that after that, sitting down, after
so
that,
many clinics
after
nowadays.
that, after that, when you have like 0 patients for like a couple of days, you realize,
Shit.
yeah, I need to do something lah. I need to do a little bit of marketing lah. So that's
Yeah.
why, that's when we started to do a little bit of research into marketing.
Okay, so that was pre-social,
Oh, that was pre-social media.
Yeah.
That was pre-social media.
What was your
so
your
last time
strategies?
was like, you have to do so last time in 2013, 2014, it's like, you need a website. Oh, I don't know how to build a website. Oh, do you pay someone to do a website for you?
Yeah.
No? Then after website, you need SEO ranking
yeah.
as well. Okay, put SEO ranking.
Yeah.
Then after that,
Is it very costly?
oh, it was costly back then.
Yeah, okay.
For a new startup, it was it was expensive.
Yeah.
It was expensive. Then after that, but now you have all this going, and you still need to get, you need to acquire customers, you need to acquire
Constant
patients.
flow of new customers.
Yeah. So what do you do? Then you you talk to people, you talk to people to recommend their friends over.
Oh, a lot of word of mouth.
Yeah, a lot of word of
effort,
mouth. I would even I myself, I would put on a tie. I would go and knock on all the beauticians' doors. Yeah, I would do that. Knock on all the beauticians' doors. Say, "Hi, I'm the doctor down the road. This is what I do. All right. I know you guys do facials, but if you do encounter these problems, send them to me."
Oh,
That's what I
okay.
do.
Wow, yeah, wow.
Every day I will go and knock on
real
like
hustler, man.
5 to 10 doors. Knock. And because that was before social media, no one has a website last time. If no one had, not many businesses even have emails.
Yeah, many people would hate the idea of doing a cold calling. What it's not cold calling, like
It's not cold calling.
cold approach,
Yes, cold approach.
right? Many people would hate and despise, and they just can't bring themselves to do it. But you
I would just do it
impromptu.
Yeah, I would say,
Okay.
and no choice. So
Determination,
yeah, sometimes I see, there are no patients for next 1 hour. Okay, I'll just pop by to the nearest.
Yeah, free time.
Yeah, free time. Just pop by. Just knock on the door, say hi. And then eventually they start referring people
Yeah.
to me. Then
Dude,
okay lah.
It's really okay. Fine. Maybe it's sort of like, don't know whether it's a correct comparison, but let's say if you have a YouTube account, right, and then suddenly you have you create a video production is good, content is good, and then you realize it's like as good as those videos you see getting 100,000 views. Then you're thinking, but where's the traffic coming from? Nowhere.
Yep.
So it's sort of like when you have a clinic, you start it up, it looks good aesthetically, you're qualified, you're experienced, you can handle it. But where's the traffic coming from?
Correct.
So it's a slow build up gradually of okay.
Correct.
Currently you have four clinics.
Currently, we have 3. We closed one down Ampang because after
Okay.
the pandemic. So
yeah.
what happened is the
Tough
landlord wanted to take back the lot, and then we couldn't find any suitable lots nearby, and we decided just to close it down. Yeah, so currently I'm running 3, running that, and then running my telehealth service as well, which is the skin fix one.
Yep.
Then we're doing content creation, and as well as on the side, I do help out with my wife's skincare company.
Oh, your wife is in the same.
So my wife, prior to pandemic, she was not in the same industry. She was actually in pharma. She was actually doing she was in the pharmaceutical industry, but she didn't like the corporate life anymore. So we decided, hey, you know what? Since I know all this stuff about skincare, why don't we start a small skincare brand?
Okay,
Alright.
do it together.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into some skin problems and
Can.
solutions. So previously we were talking about acne. Right? So many different types. There's whiteheads, blackheads.
Yep, there's
Those are
whiteheads,
all-
blackheads, papules, To be honest, it is basically whether the pore is infected or not infected. Infected, not infected not infected means blackheads, whiteheads lah.
Yeah.
Right.
Non-yellow.
The ones that they are not red lah. Then the infected ones are the ones red in color lah. Like wherever pimple red in color, that's infected already.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it's the ones with the pus on
Yeah,
the tip,
sometimes.
which is yellow.
Well, not necessary. Even the whiteheads have a small dot on the top. So once it's infected, it gets a bit reddish. Then that one usually requires some sort of antibiotics.
So blackheads, whiteheads, they're not infected.
Yeah, they're not infected. You can leave it there, no problem. It's just a cosmetic problem.
A cosmetic problem, but
that means that it doesn't look nice only.
would it fade away?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
So,
because
yeah.
okay.
So if you can actually use creams, regular creams you buy over the counter. You can use skincare, and sometimes it goes away.
Okay.
The whiteheads and blackheads go
The
away.
infected ones, what do you refer to them as?
So the infected ones are what we call acne, proper acne. So in the medical term, we call it acne vulgaris. Vulgaris means just vulgar. That means it's like everywhere. So acne vulgaris, these are when they become a little bit painful,
Yep.
a bit reddish in color.
Itchy.
Yeah, a little bit itchy. When you pop it, there's more pus coming out from inside.
Yep.
Then of course you have again different types of acne. Some of the bigger ones, you have pustular acne, right? You have those huge ones,
okay.
very very deep ones, whereby some of the like cystic ones.
The ones you see on YouTube and it's pretty disgusting. right?
Yeah. Those
Yeah.
are really disgusting ones. So you have different types of acne.
So very common one lah. Okay. Until now, because I've heard like from some people who say that never pop your pimple. Some would say you pop it and then you clean it. So what do you actually do? with your pimple?
If you do not have the
The
knowledge,
infected one, sorry.
okay, if you do not have the knowledge, don't pop it by yourself, because I would say 99% of people pop it wrongly. So when you pop it wrongly, number one, you can cause more damage to your skin. Number two, you can cause scarring. Number three, you can cause the pimple to start spreading nearby.
Okay, so it literally spreads because
you didn't clean it properly, and then the way you press it was wrong. So if you know how to do it properly, then it's safe for you to pop your pimples, no problem.
So why do some people just have more pimples or more prone to acne problems?
Right. So acne is caused by many issues.
Yes.
Primarily issue, I would say 50 to 60% of the people is actually caused by genetics.
Sure.
Genes play a major role in acne, on how severe your acne is.
About more than half of
More than half of the
Okay.
people attribute it to genetics.
Sure.
How do you know whether genetics play a big role? You look at your parents. If your parents have bad acne scars, that means they're highly likely when they were young, they had bad acne. Good chance that you're going to get bad acne as well.
I'm lucky.
All right, that's number one. Secondly, lifestyle. Lifestyle plays a major role in acne. Things like food that you take, right? If you take a lot of sweet food, high caloric food, it triggers acne.
Okay,
Right.
I saw some of your real. Can you talk more about sugar?
Yes.
Being
Yes.
Yeah.
So sugar, what happens with sugar is when you take a lot of sugar, the amount of sugar in your blood goes up a little bit. All right. So when the sugar goes up, it actually makes your skin produce more oil, more sebum. And when there's more sebum, you get more acne. I tell you a story that this dermatologist told me a long time ago. In Papua New Guinea, there are still a lot of tribes
Yeah.
in the jungles, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
They have never seen cars on aeroplanes before.
Yes.
So in the 1920s, there was a researcher
Yeah.
who went into the jungle, and they discovered that there were these tribes of people, and these people have no idea about technology, TV, and things like
Yeah.
that. But
Uncontacted,
what they also noticed, or what this researcher noticed, is their skin is clear, no acne. And then when they asked about it, they had no
Idea.
word for acne. There's no such word for acne in their vocabulary because they've never had it. All right?
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Oh, okay.
then, in order to do the research properly, he invited a few of them out into the city to bring them to the university nearby to study. So what happened is when they came out to the city, they started developing acne. They've never had it, you know. In their generations, they've never had any knowledge of acne.
Yeah, yeah.
But once they
Oh,
traveled to
dear.
the city, they started getting acne. So then there was a hypothesis that it is due to the environment and also due to the food. Because back in the jungles or back in the villages, they ate very, very raw things. But when they came out into the cities, they ate much more processed food, more sugars, more fats. So at the time, it was really postulated that acne is actually due to surrounding our lifestyle.
I would think that it also, because stress also does.
Yeah, stress as well.
So I would think that those people coming from the jungle and now they're in the city, it might be a bit stressful as well.
Yeah. You are right.
What's
you are
all
right.
this technology around?
You are right. So that's
Yeah.
why there's something called stress acne as well. That means acne due to stress. Yeah.
Okay. Food, lifestyle.
Food, lifestyle, stress, hormones. Basically, the list goes on.
Yeah.
We are still uncertain. We are still not very certain what is the actual cause of acne. We just know that all of this may lead to acne.
Okay.
Yeah?
No,
We know that-
but what actually causes the acne itself is the sebum.
Yeah. So
Excess
so, yeah.
sebum.
So the process of how acne forms, we know. All right.
Okay.
But we do not know why some people get it bad and some people don't get it bad. So that's why we say, oh, it's genetics. That's why we say it's this and that. Right. So we really haven't nailed it in the head yet.
Sure.
Right. Because it means that once we nail it in the head, it means it's curable.
We
It means
can yeah,
it means
yeah.
No more acne for the
For
rest
people.
of mankind.
Yeah.
All right. So it means we can stop it there.
Yeah.
All right. But we haven't really pinpoint it down.
Okay.
Right.
So I saw somewhere something like a lot of sebum along with the dead skin follicles.
Mhm.
So that's
Yep.
also what clogs your pores.
Yes. Correct.
That's why people use scrubs.
That's right. That's right.
To remove the dead follicles.
Yeah, that's why you should wash your face at least once a day. If you, let's say you,
That's
if-
my next question. So many different type of face wash brands, right? When you read on the bottle, right? It's a lot of different purposes and all. So if you are someone who just have some like any sort of acne problem, how do you choose which one is the right face wash for you? How would you know?
it's difficult to pinpoint accurately what's the right skincare for you, for that one patient, because that everyone's skin is different and everyone's way of reacting to the skincare is different. But we know in general, if you have acne, it means your skin is oily, then you need more oily prone cleansers, or cleansers that are primarily to reduce oil.
Oil control.
Or those oil control cleansers. Then you should move towards more oil controlled skincare.
So that's a very general one.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Right. Those are really, really general. If you want to be a little bit more detailed about it, then there are certain ingredients to actually look for. Right. Things like salicylic acid, things like glycerin inside your skincare to moisturize your skin. So that those are a little bit more technical stuff.
So moisturizer literally hydrates your skin.
That's a very tricky thing.
So for my whole life, right, I always thought that you put moisturizer because you want to make your skin moist. I went to the gym with a friend, and after the gym I tell him, let's go makan. He said I cannot. Then I'm like, why can't you just eat makan? Then he said, unless if it's downstairs then can. He said because my skin doctor told me that he needs to, after gym, you need to go back and put moisturizer, because moisturizer makes your skin more dry. It helps you dry your skin because
Okay.
so yeah, that's what he said.
All right. So So
I was confused,
yeah.
because I've been hearing otherwise, like something different my whole
Yeah.
life.
So the funny thing of moisturizer, right? It actually doesn't work like how the name says it is. All right. You think that just because the name is moisturizer, it actually moisturizes the skin. It actually doesn't moisturize the skin.
Why do so many people not know? Just simply
Right.
because of the name.
Just because of the name.
Need to change
So
it.
the name moisturizer, it means that it does keep your skin moist, but the cream itself, usually moisturizers come in creams. The cream itself does not actually moisturize your skin. So what happens is your skin actually moisturizes itself. When your skin is bare, example, you didn't apply anything on your
If
skin.
it's dry, yeah.
When you didn't apply anything on your skin, what happens is water vapor actually comes out from your skin. Right? That's evaporation of water. So what the moisturizer does is it sits on top of your skin to reduce the amount of water being evaporated. So it traps more water inside the skin. So your skin is actually self-hydrating itself. All right. Now, then it also depends on what kind of moisturizer you're using. Some moisturizer, when you apply, it only lasts for a short while. That's why your skin becomes dry after that. Some moisturizer, when you apply, lasts for a very long time. So sometimes when your skin is too moist, becomes a bit oily. So tricky.
So
lah.
wait, you were saying that the moisturizer, you put it on top of your skin, it will reduce.
Just reduce evaporation of water from your skin. So our skin,
Yeah.
we lose water from our skin. Every second of the day, we lose water from the skin.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So what the moisturizer
Basically,
does
it's getting dry.
yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Okay.
So it gets dry. So when you drink water, it rehydrates lah.
Oh, okay.
Ah,
A
so
moisturizer is like a layer.
it's
on
just
top
layer, just sit on top only.
to reduce the evaporation.
Yes, just to reduce evaporation. So that is actually what a moisturizer does. So a lot, even a lot of doctors don't even know about it.
Huh?
Yes, a lot of doctors do because we never studied this in our textbooks.
My dad said this to me. I think a few years ago. I never forget. He said like, because I went to the physiologist and then I started doing all the exercise and follow. It's like like accurately what they advised. Then my dad said to me, "You think doctors know everything?"
Yeah, doctors don't know everything.
Then he said, "You haven't speak to enough doctors to know."
Yeah.
the
Actually,
truth.
to be honest, a lot of these things are not in our textbooks. Hence, that's why we don't actually know much about it.
But I mean, if you're doing in your field, you study dermatology. Of course, you would know all this, right? Or
Not
necessarily.
really also.
Oh, dear.
Because in dermatology, our primary information that we get from our books, right, is disease and how to treat the disease.
Okay.
But we don't actually go into regular skin. Like say, example, I have dry skin. There's actually no chapter in our textbook for dry skin,
Okay, it's-
unless it's an extremely dry skin. But for a regular person's dry skin, that doesn't affect their quality of life. We don't actually know
I
anything
see.
about it. Extremely dry skin will be like cirrhosis, whereby
psoriasis.
no, it's not psoriasis. Actually, another term called xerosis, XEROSIS. So that one is when your skin becomes really dry and starts to crack. All right. So that one, there are certain creams they can
Is
get
it
from
similar
pharmacy,
to like athlete's food?
something like that.
Okay.
Something like that.
So I want to talk about enzymes after this, but let's see. So yeah, with acne, you can give a general blanket advice: sleep early.
Oh, so yeah. So
at the end of the day, it's just everyone has very different reactions. That's why they have to consult with a
Yeah.
dermatologist.
yeah. So I would say 80% of the acne can be self-treated at home. All right. Just use skincare. Right. Wash your face twice a day. Use a moisturizer. Make sure that whatever skincare that you're buying for yourself is suitable for your skin type. So it means that you need to know whether you have oily skin or dry skin or all this stuff. If you do not know, just go to a pharmacy. There are people that help you out.
Okay.
All right. Sleep early, drink more water, eat less processed food.
So often you will see people who probably has acne problem for 20 years. They tried different creams, probably go to the doctor, but they can't figure out the problem. Would you say is what do you think the reason is?
Most of the time, I would say it's lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
I will still attribute to most acne to lifestyle. As long as you fix your lifestyle, right? We realize that once you fix your lifestyle, the skin problem actually fixes itself. The acne problem fixes
The
itself.
hard part is figuring which part of
Which
your
part of
lifestyle.
lifestyle, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's say for example, you drink a lot of coffee, caffeine. Caffeine could be a trigger.
caffeine doesn't trigger.
Really?
But it's the milk and the sugar in the coffee that triggers. So if you drink black coffee, it doesn't trigger.
Yes.
Sugar. Yes. Sugar triggers.
Okay.
Alright. So
What other sort of food is actually very bad for like?
so dairy products
Okay.
might not trigger acne, but if your body is a little bit lactose intolerant, then yes, it does trigger acne.
Okay.
Another example is seafood.
Yes.
Seafood in most people does not trigger
Seafood.
acne, but if you are mildly allergic to seafood, when you take seafood, it triggers acne. So acne also can be like some form of an allergic trigger. So if you take certain food and suddenly you realize you got acne from there, highly likely you're allergic. But the one thing we know, sugar, that one definitely causes.
So, let's say people who are in bodybuilding, right? A lot of them take protein supplements.
Yes.
It's quite common as well.
Yes.
You start to get acne
Yes.
after starting taking.
Yes,
the
whey
protein.
protein actually triggers acne because
Why so?
because what happens is when sebum, the sebum that is produced by your body, right? All right, actually is very sensitive to things like cortisol. All right, so when
Sorry,
you
what
take
is cortisol again?
cortisol is a hormone in your body, which is a stress hormone in your body. So when you're stressed out, you get more cortisol. More cortisol means that you get more
Caffeine
more
increases
acne.
your cortisol, right?
Just slightly, you need.
Okay.
It's not much. But whey protein increases your cortisol by
But what
by a
what
little
is
bit
the
more.
thing that what is you say what is it inside whey protein that?
I do not know which part of the whey protein actually causes it. Right? I've read a study before, but it does trigger acne. There is some sort of correlation that whey protein does trigger acne, and I've seen before, and I've advised them to change from whey protein to other sort of protein, and actually the acne disappears after that.
Okay. Also, I used to think because there's mass gainers, right? Mass gainer, which is is a very huge like amount of calories. It can be up to 1,000 for each serving, right? So one day some people take 2. So those people, like, sometimes I always I always link the fact that they're taking mass gainer, which is a big change in your diet, right? Suddenly you're eating such a heavy calorie surplus. So I thought that's the reason why you grow pimples and all.
It could be.
It could be as well.
It could be. But I don't think there's any research done on that. But it could be. But I don't know. I have to go back and have a look whether there's any research done on mass gainers and whether they attribute to acne or not.
How about in general? Let's say your weight fluctuating a lot. Like you gain 5 kgs maybe in a month.
Generally, weight fluctuations by itself does not cause acne, but
The food.
the food that causes your weight fluctuation, that one causes
Oh,
acne.
I know why. Because why are you gaining 5 kgs? Maybe
Yeah.
you started drinking Pepsi every day.
Yeah,
for
there's
that
a
month.
highly likely
Which
you
is
you are
sugar.
doing certain things which are different. It means you're not exercising, you're consuming more calories than necessary. Yeah, correct.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about eczema.
Eczema, all right.
Yeah. So, how do people get eczema? Is it a genetic thing? And what is it?
Yeah, so eczema is actually genetic. That means that a lot of people, people that have eczema are actually born with a particular gene that actually puts them in higher predisposition to eczema. That means that it's easier for them to get eczema. And then once you have that gene in you, not necessarily that you'll get eczema, but once you're exposed to certain triggers, then the eczema comes out. Triggers means that things that your body is allergic to. Seafood, and a lot of times dust. What I realize is actually people, 99.99% of people are actually allergic to dust mites.
Yeah.
Right?
They sneeze.
Yeah, you sneeze, you start to get itchy. All right, pet furs, cat fur, cat hair, dog hair. So all this actually trigger, and once it triggers an allergic reaction in your skin, then there's actually a break in your skin. So your skin starts to crack. When you see it starts to crack, what happens? Water exits the skin. Right? So imagine this is your skin. It's waterproof. You have only a little bit of water going through. As we explained earlier, that you lose a little bit of water.
Okay. Yeah.
So now there's cracks in your skin. You lose more water than normal.
Okay.
All right. So
I
it becomes
thought-
dry.
I thought you mentioned the water going into your skin also. Then it probably infected something. No.
No. So because of the cracks in your skin, So what happens is this is your skin. Your skin is actually made out of all the skin cells, which
Yeah.
forms a very tight mesh. All right. So what if you put water on your skin, it actually doesn't go in. Your
Yeah.
skin is actually waterproof. Now, what happens is when you're allergic to something, then there'll be cracks happening on your skin. So this mesh now, it's not as strong already. So when the mesh is not as strong, there's holes in your skin, the water starts to evaporate, starts to get out of your skin. Skin becomes very dry. When skin becomes dry, the natural response is to scratch it. So start scratching it.
Why? Do you have any idea?
It's a natural human response.
Okay, because if you think about it, right, you scratch it gets worse and worse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But it's a natural human response. When the skin becomes dry, you end up scratching it.
Maybe it's a flaw.
Yeah, it's I would say I don't know whether it's a flaw or not.
In the human body
right?
reaction.
Probably a long time ago, we needed that particular receptor in our skin. Probably now it's not so useful. So once you start scratching, then there's more tears in the skin, so more water evaporates. And now the hole is large enough because of scratching. The hole is large enough, bacteria starts to go in, and then the skin potentially can get infected. So that's why eczema, sometimes it gets infected, gets red, and sometimes there's like liquid coming out of the skin because it's really
like pus,
infected.
is it?
It's like pus, very, very, very mild pus coming out of the skin.
What is actually pus?
Pus is actually accumulation of dead skin cells with white blood cell. So white blood cell is like the protectors of your skin, of your body. So when you have an infection, when you're bacteria there, then your body will start to recruit a lot of white blood cells, and then it accumulates in a particular place, and that's where you get pus.
Okay, so what happens if you have eczema? I mean, I'll tell you about my buddy a close buddy of mine. He's had eczema. I met him at 19. We were in Melbourne studying. He's always been using the cream, which he tells me that there's steroids in the cream. What he says is that it's not good to use it for long term, and he's been using it for a long time since he was a kid. Every time he'll go to the doctor, they'll prescribe it to him. He's finally managed to go off of it. So actually, what is that cream that you're using?
So there are actually a lot of different creams,
okay.
a lot of different creams to manage eczema.
Yeah.
However, steroid creams are still the best creams to manage eczema or to manage the itch, so that you don't scratch. So it means if I give you steroid creams, you don't scratch. When you don't scratch, then the skin gives the skin time to heal itself. However, steroid creams long term use have a lot of issues on its own.
It's an addiction also.
Yeah, your skin becomes dependent on it.
Yeah.
And that's one. Secondly is your skin becomes a bit thinner. It thins the skin. Steroid cream overuse thins the skin and causes a lot of other issues after that.
So the main thing the steroid does is it reduces the itchiness.
Itch. Yeah.
Okay, so you could actually use another cream,
Yes.
but it's going to be itchy whether you can
Yes,
bear it.
that's right. That's right. So there are other forms of more natural kind of creams. However, they are not as effective as steroid creams.
Okay.
They're not as effective as steroid creams. So steroid creams are still the most effective, but you can't use it long term. So usually our advice is once you are using steroid creams, once it's less itchy, then we start to slow down the steroid creams and we start to substitute the steroid creams with a more natural creams, the ones that don't contain steroid. Then after that, then you just maintain with the non-steroid ones.
So what happened to my buddy, right? He didn't. So it got very bad. He's been having eczema, I think, for pretty much most of his teenage years up till he's my age now, close to 30. So it got very bad. It reached a peak point. So he told himself that he's just gonna stop the steroid cream, cold turkey. So he stopped it cold turkey. Didn't take any cream for a month. I think it was a month. He didn't go out, more than a month maybe. He didn't go out. He was always so tired. He lost like 10, 15 kgs, a lot of weight. And my first thought was I was very worried. I'm thinking like, because I asked him like, did you speak to a doctor about this? He said no. He just know that what is bad for him and what he has to do. But whether or not it was the right way or the safest way to do it, I wasn't sure. So I was worried, But now he's actually gone through the hard part, which was losing the weight, feeling tired all the time. You lose your appetite, and he couldn't go out because it's just horrible, right? It feels very bad. Now he's fine, he's put back on the weight, put on even more weight, muscle. Yeah. So what actually went down during his downtime?
Yeah. So during his downtime, he was actually undergoing a withdrawal phase, just like anyone who's like addicted to like heroin and all.
Or those hard drugs.
Yeah, those hard drugs. Your body actually become dependent on it. So when you stop it, then your body will actually give you certain triggers to try and get you back on the particular drug. So
Wow.
So the body was trying to tell him, you need to get back on the steroid because we need it to control.
It got
the
lazy. Is it the body?
I would
Something
say
like that.
I would say you become very dependent. Your body became dependent on the steroid.
Yeah.
So now your body is trying to tell you, hey, you need to get back on the steroid on steroid cream because we need it.
Yeah.
We need it. So if you don't go on, I'm going to give you. I'm going to make your life a living hell.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah. So that is actually a very normal response. And now as doctors,
Really?
of course, we don't encourage it lah, because again, not everyone can
Withstand
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not everyone can withstand it cold turkey.
But what could have happened though? Like, was there anything severe that could have happened to
Yeah,
him?
I mean, nothing serious would have happened to him physically, but it was primarily psychological. That means
Really?
that means that imagine you lost weight, you lost appetite, you're tired all the time.
Of course.
It plays a big mental
Yeah,
toll
your
on
immune
on
system
your
could
head.
be down.
Your immune system could be down. You could be depressed.
Yeah.
You could have anxiety.
Most definitely, actually.
Yeah. So it's more towards that rather than physical. There's not much of physical harm.
Oh, okay. Would you say that if he never took the cream with steroids, the other creams would not have this sort of withdrawal?
Yeah, definitely. If he never started on steroid cream in the first place, the withdrawal would have never happened. But also, if he had never started on steroid in the first place, we wouldn't know how bad his eczema would become. So, like it or not, I always tell my patients, steroid is a necessary evil. It's a necessary evil that you
Just
need to use.
the name itself, you think that way.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil that you need to use, but use it occasionally, right? Use it only when desperate. When you're not desperate, there are other creams that you can do.
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, that's the hard part. So some people are strong enough, right? Mentally they are strong enough to actually withstand the itch and all. Then they get through it. Some people are not mentally strong enough, and they just rely on steroids after that.
Okay. Yeah, but I don't know. Just from what he told me, his
It's
experience.
difficult. It's difficult.
Not difficult. I thought it was like, I just thought like, why didn't you go and consult a doctor?
Yeah, because most doctors would just tell you to get back on the steroids. Normal.
Exactly right.
Most doctors will just tell
So conflicting.
because we, even as doctors, right, we also don't know what will happen to someone
Sure.
with chronic eczema who suddenly stop all the steroids.
So the doctor might also be worried that if you stop taking the steroids,
example, you mentioned your buddy lost a lot of weight. As a doctor, I'll get
You
them.
freak out also,
I'll
right?
freak out. Why are you losing so much weight? You shouldn't be losing all this weight.
Yeah.
You know, as a doctor, I will freak out.
yeah.
Because in my head now it's like,
Like,
potentially
what do
a
I
lot
do?
of other
Maybe
problems.
I did something. You think like, oh, maybe I did something wrong. He needs to go back on the solution.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right.
Okay, I see.
That's right.
Okay, but he's managed to get over it.
Glad to hear. Glad
Yeah,
to hear.
glad to
Eczema
hear.
is not easy. It's not easy.
Because we hardly see him out, and now we see him out, and he's put on back his muscle and all,
Good.
so it's good.
Good.
Okay, let's go on to the next thing. I want to talk about eye bags.
Eye bags.
Yeah. So my eye
Eye bags.
bags are pretty bad.
Difficult eye bags.
Your eye bags are great.
Okay, so eye bags.
Yes.
Eye bags is mostly genetic. Either you have it or you don't. Is it? You either have eye bags or you don't have eye bags. All right?
Sure. A lot of things also could be done to make it worse.
Yes,
Is
there
it?
are a lot of things that could be done to make it worse. You
Sorry.
suddenly lost a lot of weight. Suddenly your eye bags.
Sorry, eye bags is the
It's this particular fat under the eyes.
yeah, not the what do you call that? Below the eye. You don't call that eye bags, right?
No.
What do you call it?
The one there are eye bags and there are like dark eye circles
Oh,
and,
dark-
they're,
dark.
and they're like grooves and I know. No. So eye bags are these particular
It's just
pouches.
this thing here.
Yeah, exactly. Those pouches that bulges out under the eyes. So
Dark circles is the one that has more to do with your lifestyle.
yeah,
And-
correct. There's more to do with lifestyle.
Okay, so eye bags really. What if you don't sleep at all? So it's eye bags still.
Yeah. So eye bags, a lot of times, it's genetic, whereby some people are born with eye bags even though they're young, and some people get eye bags really early on in their life compared to other people. But of course, there are also other factors lah. that predispose someone to eye bags, or someone get eye bags easier. You don't sleep enough, you drink a lot, you smoke a lot,
Yeah.
you have lost tremendous amount of weight in a short period of time. That also can contribute to eye bags.
It's like kind of like stress to your body.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Dark circles?
Dark eye circles, that one is more towards lifestyle. Sleep late, look at too much bright screens.
So what could I do to... What's the solution to the dark circles?
Dark circles.
If I'm not willing to change my lifestyle. This is a question
Well,
for
if
a
you're
lot
not
of people.
willing to change your lifestyle, then I would say don't do anything.
Don't do
Right?
anything.
Don't do anything, because that is the primary reason why your dark eye circles are there in the first place. You
You're
know?
saying that it would come back eventually.
It will come back eventually. Even so, you'll be wasting time and money trying to
Trying a solution
reduce a problem whereby you could have just changed your lifestyle, and then you would just eventually reduce.
Okay.
So, of course, there are ways to.
Those creams and...
There are creams. There are even to the extreme, right? As doctors, we can even inject certain things under the eyes to
Just goes
reduce the
away.
dark eye circle. Yeah, but eventually it does come back.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
you
because of lifestyle, it does come back.
So as a doctor, you have to firmly
I will firmly tell
advise
you
on the lifestyle part
lifestyle
first.
first.
Yeah, because if not, you're gonna be going around in circles.
Yeah,
so
yeah, exactly.
I think that's all for skin. Let's talk about I want to talk about hair loss.
Can.
Yeah, but do you mind if I just use the bathroom?
Yeah,
real quick?
please do.
Do you want to
please
go
go.
use?
No need.
In the news recently, one of the members of the parliament requesting to put LGBTQ people in the mentally ill category. Did you see that?
That one, a lot of times it's just for political clout lah.
Really? Yeah. It will never happen, is it?
It will
Sorry
never
if
happen because
Yep.
right, politicians know how to play the game. They know
Yes.
it's very simple.
They're a few steps ahead of whatever you're thinking.
No, for them, right, it's like, hey, I need to let my constituents know that I'm alive, that I'm doing something.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? Of course, number one, you go on the ground and then you help them lah, right? But the second thing is to always appear in papers, always appear in news. That's why politicians love to make very bombastic claims and stuff like that. Just to anytime, just to get on the news only. Just get on the news.
Sometimes they're not even personally they don't even agree.
Yeah, personally, a lot of times they don't agree one.
Yeah.
I actually know a lot of politicians, a lot of times they don't agree on, but they like to talk shit in public, they like to talk shit in parliament and all. But behind closed doors, they're all buddy one.
Oh, okay.
Oh, buddy. All of them are friends.
Even from opposite
Opposite party, the PAS and the UMNOs and the DAPs, they're all friends. I wouldn't say friends as in they will hang out for dinner lah, but
they're not gonna beat each other up when they see each other.
yeah, because end of the day, right, parliament, right, there's only one like big cafeteria. All of them sit down and eat together. They'll joke one. They'll joke and all. Yeah, they're all friends one. Like last time, people say, "Oh, very bad lah, Mahathir." Yeah, Mahathir and Lim Kit Siang, they have lunch and dinner together all the time. But they're on opposite parties. When it's showdown,
Wow, they're playing.
They're politicians.
They're playing a video game.
Yeah, they are politicians. They lead double lives, all right? In front of the public, they lead this life. But behind, a lot of them, they are friends. And you'll be surprised, a lot of them do business together. Trust me, they're all friends one. They're all friends.
Okay, that's awesome.
They're all friends. They might not be like best friends, but they know that they are on a very very precarious boat, right? This boat, right?
Yeah.
If they shake it too much, it will sink one. So they just shake it a bit lah, shake a bit. Some people here and some people here, they just tilt the boat a little bit lah. It means that, I just say something and the other side will say something, say something. But they are not going to sink the ship.
It's also kind of like a sport, right, for them, where they respect the guy's move. He's doing a particular chess move, and he's like, oh, okay, I'll do something back.
I give you an example lah. Last time Lim Guan Eng and Najib that.
Yep.
When Najib won, or Najib said, "Wow, I'm going to throw Lim Guan Eng in jail," but Lim Guan Eng never went to jail. Got court case lah. Court case drag. Then suddenly when Najib went down, then the court case disappeared. Then Najib's case also drag. But eventually he went to jail lah. Right? But
that was different one.
But his sort of jail is not the kind that we know lah. The hard jail. His sort of jail is open door jail, very senang, got TV, got computer, everything one.
Yeah.
Right.
But until now, I don't know. Until now, I'm still hoping for some leaked photos or what of where he actually is. Nothing came out, right?
Nothing came out. He is likely still in jail, but his jail is very his jail is probably got like king size bed with Egyptian cotton and stuff like that, lah. Very, very nice, big TV, you know.
And some
then-
concubines, you know.
Yeah, and then it's not like the jail that we know, you know.
Of course.
There are visitors going in and out. There are always visitors going in and out of his jail cell. People can come and see him, sit down beside him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they're still plotting and planning and all.
I mean, end of the day, right?
So he'll be out soon.
I
Out of his hotel.
I don't know whether out or not, but I would say that it's not as bad as we think it is.
Yes.
Right? They are still living a nice, comfortable life. They're running their day-to-day business, their day-to-day stuff.
You say it's not as bad as we think it is, but I think most of the public also already thinks otherwise, which is that it's not in.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look now, suddenly, you know, mortal enemies can be best friends. You know, DAP and UMNO suddenly, you know, they are campaigning for one another. Hey, DAP like, hey, go you go vote UMNO. It's like, you know, like the last election, you would never think that they're best friends. But now they're all best friends, sitting there.
Did you see what KJ has a podcast?
Yeah, KJ has a
Keluar
podcast.
Sekejap.
Keluar Sekejap, yeah.
I think
KJ is a very good marketing person.
He's very good talker.
He's a very good marketing brain.
Charismatic.
He's a very good marketing brain. He knows that he's out of active political scene, but he still need to get his name out there, so that he can always make a comeback.
Of course.
If he does not,
If he wants to.
no, he wants to definitely. He's a career politician. There's nothing else that he knows. If he's not a politician, right, he has no other job really, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So he needs to come back into politics, and he has ambition. Right. His
Yeah.
ambition is to be PM one day. So in order for that, he needs to consistently get people's attention. So one of the ways to get a podcast, second of all, to always appear on Hot
It's
FM.
a great idea to have a podcast actually,
Yeah, of
especially if you're someone who has held a position like him,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, to have a podcast and you're a good speaker,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
It's
exactly.
great. I look at the podcast, I think that this will probably be
Yeah.
the biggest
And then-
podcast in Malaysia, you know?
And then his podcast is a political podcast.
Yeah.
It's not what most podcasts are in Malaysia, where it's
not.
more towards the entertainment
But-
side. His is a more political, but not very hard politics.
Yes,
His
they-
one is politic with a little bit of comedy inside as well.
Sure, and also the main talking points, which is essential for a lot of podcasts.
Yeah.
Current topics, sorry.
Yeah, so a lot of current topics, and then he break it down very simply for regular people to understand.
The other person I'm not familiar with, Sharil.
Sharil was ex-UMNO.
He's an ex-UMNO, so
Also
a colleague.
yeah, his ex-colleague got kicked out of UMNO as well.
Okay.
Alright, so that's why it's called Keluar Sekejap, because both of them got kicked out of UMNO.
okay.
They
Oh
were
my God, I didn't-
they were both kicked out of.
It's actually
of
brilliant,
UMNO.
you know.
Yeah.
The name and all.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. It's actually a very. It's actually a brilliant move.
It is.
It's a brilliant move. It's a brilliant move.
Pretty good. I remember the first week it was out, pretty crazy numbers, 700, 800,000 views and all. Just the first week it came out,
Yeah, lah, because it's KG ma.
Yeah, it's KG. The other dude, what's it? Went on his podcast recently. And then there's a video that came out why people hate, why Malays dislike DAP. I thought, that's a really catchy clickbait title. Yeah. You actually follow politics?
I don't really follow politics much. But I find Malaysian politics very interesting.
Yeah, until
find
Singapore people love it as well.
Yeah, I find it very interesting because I think we are hitting a maturity level in our politics, which is good.
Sounds very positive.
No.
tell
I'm
me about
positive because politics in Malaysia prior to this, right? Let's say even a long time ago, it has always been one party ruling everything.
Yes.
Right? It's no difference than a communist party lah. So basically, if every election only one party wins, it's a communist country.
Yeah.
So
pretty much,
so you need to come to a point whereby it's
actually never before in history.
never
until-
before in Malaysian history.
Okay,
Nah.
okay.
Yeah, until like 2008,
Yeah,
whereby the opposition started winning the states.
Yeah, not-
the
yeah,
Penang
only
state
the
and Selangor
states, yeah.
states. Then from there, it started to tilt. Started to actually tilt it to the point whereby our last election, not a single party or coalition had majority. So it's interesting because now we are at a level whereby it's similar to what Australia is, to what UK is, and to what the Americans are, whereby no single party have the majority. So it means that in order for you to get any laws or anything through, you need to woo the
Both
lawmakers
sides.
from the other side. You need to let them know, hey, this not only benefits us but benefits you as well. So it makes everyone not stir the pot too much. All right. So this is actually signs of a more mature political scene, whereby everyone does not command a majority. Because when one party controls the majority, that party can do anything.
Yeah.
The party say, today we enact this law.
there's never
Nobody
good-
say no. There's no one to go against because you have the majority. You can just pass the law. But now it's impossible for you to pass any sort of very draconian kind of law. So it means that now people are a little bit more, I would say, much more. Our political party is much more stable at the moment.
But also in general, what it displays to the public people is, I mean, a lot of people think that there's a good change.
Yeah,
right now.
I would say it's a good change for all our political scene, right? And at the same time, it also shows that hey, it's okay to be an opposition party. Last time it was a very hush. You never tell people that you vote for DAP. If you're Chinese, or you tell people, I vote for MCA, but actually behind you vote for DAP. But now people say, yeah, I voted for DAP. They say, yeah, I voted for so and so party. So what?
Yeah. So what?
Yeah. So what?
Yeah. Okay. What was that just now?
No, hair
loss.
Major
tangent.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. Hair loss. So
Yes.
I just came back from Turkey about a week plus ago. All right, so
Which part?
Turkey, Istanbul.
The capital.
So Turkey, Istanbul is actually the world capital of hair transplant. It's the
I've
world
heard that
hair
recently.
transplant
Yeah, I've
capital,
heard that recently. Wow.
Yeah, there is 1,000 hair transplant clinics in Istanbul itself.
Okay.
1,000.
Yeah, I hear people fly over there.
Yes,
Okay.
people flying all the way usually from Europe, flying there to get the hair transplant done, and then they go back to their own country.
Is it expensive?
It was really cheap there.
What?
I think, I think you can get hair transplant there for about $1,000 US.
I mean, if you said there are so many clinics there, then the price has to be.
it's a price
lower.
war basically.
Yeah.
Huh? The hair transplant doctors in Malaysia will tell you it is not a very good thing lah, because
They don't want you to fly there.
No, yeah. Number one, they don't want you to fly there. Number two is because they do volume right. The quality is not there. They do quantity. So it's basically quantity.
But is that what
quality
the
is not.
doctors are saying, or is that what you think is happening?
I think it is definitely when you do quantity, there's
Yes.
always there is a drop in quality.
Sorry, did you go there for treatment yourself?
No,
Or
I went there for holiday actually.
Holiday,
I
okay.
went there for holiday.
With the family, yeah.
I went to Istanbul and I went to Switzerland for a short while with my wife just for holiday. So we stopped by Istanbul because I've always wanted to go. So it was interesting that Istanbul is actually the plastic surgery capital for
Plastic
Europe.
surgery as well.
For Europe. So like how we think of South Korea and Thailand for
Sure.
plastic surgery,
Yes.
the Europeans see Istanbul the same way.
What if you were to compare price points from, let's say, Thailand and Istanbul? Surgery and
I would say-
and transplant, hair transplant.
I would say they are on par. Istanbul and Bangkok is roughly on par in terms of pricing in US dollars.
Okay.
Yeah. However, it's more difficult for us to fly to
Yeah,
Istanbul
yeah.
because it's like a 12-hour flight.
It's just a convenience thing.
Yeah,
for the
convenience for
Asians.
us, 2 hours to Bangkok. But for the Europeans, for them to fly to Istanbul, it's very nearby.
2 hours,
3
oh.
hours, they're there already.
Same lah for us going to
For us to
Thailand.
Bangkok, it's the same. So that's why a lot of time they will go to Istanbul for plastic surgery.
So, this is a very. I always wonder this lah. So, hair transplants are there. Hair treatments as well. Everywhere you see hair treatments and all, but yet we see mega rich people like Jeff Bezos.
Mm-hmm.
He's bald.
Yep.
Why do you think the reason that is?
There are actually many reasons why someone want to go bald. Number one is
Do you
they've
think his one is he
attempted? Likely has attempted to
to
minimize,
save
to save.
Yeah.
All right, but maybe it came to a point whereby he said, you know what, cannot save already lah. Okay lor.
Or maybe
shave bald.
lazy also.
Hey, actually, to shave bald, it actually takes a lot of dedication because
Dedication.
you need to shave daily
Okay.
because
What if there's no more hair?
you will always have hair at the back of your head.
Yeah, right.
You always have hair there, right? Because so we need to understand why there's hair loss in the first place, especially in men. The reason why there's hair loss is because your hair is sensitive to a form of hormone in your body called DHT, dihydrotestosterone. So that's why when you see all these shampoos and all these anti-DHT DHT blockers because DHT causes hair loss. But the back of your head and the side of your head, the hair is not sensitive to DHT.
Sorry, what is DHT again?
So it's a long name.
Yep.
It stands for dihydrotestosterone.
Dihydrotestosterone.
It's a form of
DHT.
testosterone.
Okay.
It's a form of testosterone, but for convenience sake and for marketing gimmick sake, we always call it DHT. That's
How does the DHT encourage hair loss?
All right, so it is normal. All of us have it. You have it. I have it. Girls have
In our
it.
bodies.
Everyone has it. Now, what happens is excessive testosterone converts to DHT. So when you have high testosterone, converts more into DHT. All right? And genetically, some people's hair is more sensitive to DHT.
When you say high testosterone, do you mean like higher than regular?
Higher than regular.
Okay.
Higher than regular.
Because different people have different amounts of
Yes,
default.
that's right.
Okay.
That's right. But your body tries to protect itself by when you have too much of something, it converts it to something else. So, right? So genetically, some people, their hair is more sensitive to DHT. So when you have DHT and the DHT goes into this person's hair, because it circulates in our bloodstream. So when it goes to this person's hair, then the hair starts to fall off, and especially in men. Right? All this usually happen in men. So how do you know if someone potentially might have hair loss? A lot of times you have a look at their uncles, right? You have a look at their parents, right? Their dads.
Your bloodline.
Yeah, the bloodline. And as well, you look at their body hair. If they have a lot of body hair, generally, right, they will actually lose hair on the top of the head. Because when you have body hair, body hair, it's because you have high levels of DHT. Body hair only grows when you have high levels of DHT. Like facial hair, like beard and mustache and all. It's because of high DHT, then all this will start to grow.
Oh.
So when you don't have DHT or when your DHT is low, you don't have facial hair.
And and then this is often you see people who are bald at the top. They have nice facial hair.
Yes, that is why.
It's an okay trait.
That is why. So
holy shit.
So that's why once you have slightly high DHT, then the hair start to fall off. But the hair usually only fall off in the front and in the middle. It does not fall off on the sides, neither does it fall off on the back. Because these hairs there are not sensitive to DHT. They grow irregardless whether there's DHT or not.
What is there a reason why?
No, we're just built that way. We just built like that. Okay. So in hair transplant means that in a point whereby we need to move the hair, we usually move the hair from the sides or the back to the top.
Yep. It's always that's why hair transplant because people will wonder if you take it from the back, then what if the back have less hair, but you will always have
have hair on the back. But of course there is a limitation on how many hair transplants that you can do in your lifetime.
Tell me about it.
So so it really depends on person to person, but you can only do maximum 2 or 3 times. Because
really?
If you take too much hair, again, it depends on how much hair you take. But if you take too much hair, then you can start seeing at the back that it's starting to ball out.
You can? I thought it would regrow back.
No, it doesn't regrow. So whatever hair that you take out, right, actually that area doesn't regrow anymore. So that's why, what they do is they don't take out all the hairs in a row. They skip. They take 1 hair, then they skip 2 hairs, then they take the 4th hair, they skip, then they take the 7th hair, so that there's always hair to cover the bald spots.
So, it's different from me pulling out a hair strand.
Yeah. If you pull out, it grows back.
Yes, they dig it into the roots and pull the whole thing out, and it will never grow again.
And it never grows again. So that area, that small, teeny tiny pinpoint area, would not have hair growth anymore for life.
Okay. I heard something like each hair itself, hair transplant is about 5-10 ringgit, just something like that, right?
That's right. The price fluctuates from clinic to clinic, from region to region. So it used to be more expensive because there were only so little hair transplant doctors in Malaysia. They used to charge 10 to 15 ringgit. But now as there's more doctors, so there's more supply, then naturally the price starts to come down.
Okay, so you said just now you can only do it so many times because literally you are taking it from the back and you'll never get it back. Okay. What are the risks involved
What the risk involved in hair
is there
transplant?
many, or is there any, or
Well, there's actually very minimal risk because it's actually a very simple, very straightforward procedure. The risk is bleeding, lor, right? You're bleeding from the area that you take the hair
yeah,
out.
nothing severe.
The other risk is whatever hair you transplant, it doesn't grow as well.
Yeah,
Maybe let's say you take 1,000 hair, maybe only 500 grows,
which is common,
which
is it?
which is actually really common. So you need to find the right doctor to do it. So that's why quality is
Turkey,
very important.
okay.
So if you go like to places like Turkey, all right, because they do they do quantity, they for them they put 1,000, maybe 500 survive. But in Malaysia, it's probably you put 1,000, maybe 900 survive. But yeah.
It's true, huh?
Yeah, it's true. It's
Oh.
true. But because we have lower volume, but the level of care is better. The level of care is better. So that's why also the price you pay, no? The price you pay is a lot more.
You say the level of care, you also mean like perhaps the doctors in Turkey would do it much faster?
Yeah, do it much faster.
The one here pay more attention and take their time
Yes, that's right.
to do it properly.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Then, of course, if if possible, people will want to take as long as you can, to just do it
Correct.
correctly. Okay. So yeah, you were saying like, people like just Jeff Bezos, right?
bald.
Yeah. So you think that it's because he's exhausted all his options?
Yeah, I think if you have looked at him, his photo of Amazon in 1998,
It was really going bad.
all right,
Yeah.
prior to the dot-com bust, he was already bald over the top.
Yeah, it's already
Really
bald,
like botak over the top, right? There's like no hair left.
Yeah.
So if he were to do a hair transplant, right,
Which he probably did,
maybe he did, maybe he didn't. If he were to do a hair transplant, he wouldn't see great results because he already had not much hair already.
Yeah.
So it's only good whereby you have some hair and then you plant some more hair. Then it looks like you got head for hair.
Okay.
Example, I give you an example. Elon Musk. Elon Musk had a hair transplant. Right, it's very clear. You look at his PayPal days. He was he was he had hair but not much hair. Then suddenly now he had like tons of hair. He had a hair transplant done.
Okay, so if the bald spot is too big, right?
Yeah.
You pretty much can't
Then
save it.
pretty much
already.
you can't save it.
It's gone already.
Yes, it's gone.
Okay. So it's okay. I remember I was talking to Dr. Park, and then Doctor just asking about aesthetic treatment. So I say, what's the right age to start? Then he tells me that there's no right age. If you actually want to look at it, the way he looks at it is the earlier the better. It's like prevention, right? So it's sort of like with your hair, you can't wait until it's too late. So hair transplant is usually the second. Not second, I would say it's the last resort,
It's the last resort.
For most people, right? Also most pricey. What sort of hair treatments can you do for hair growth
Well, I would
other than the transplant?
the number one thing to always start on is you have to start on medications. Medication to stop the hair loss. Because we know what causes hair loss, which is the DHT.
DHT, yes.
So we need to reduce the DHT. So that is the culprit. The DHT is the culprit. We need to reduce it. We have ways to reduce it through medications.
Okay.
All right. Now these medications usually are taken lifelong because your body constantly produce DHT. So when you take the medication, the level goes down. But when you stop the medication, the level comes back up again.
Is there also a side effect to stopping?
There are side effects.
Withdrawal
Yes.
symptoms?
Yeah. So there are research done that the moment you stop the medication, your hair, everything falls off.
So have you heard of I think you should have known the most popular one, Dr. Ranjit, is it?
Yes, the Ranjit is he's a dermatologist.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's a dermatologist.
Is he your friend by any chance?
No, he's not my friend, but I've met him a couple of times. He's really busy. I think he's already retired.
He's the one in SS15,
Subang, yeah,
right?
yeah, Subang
You know,
Jaya,
I drove by, right?
Oh, he's crazy. His
Yeah, I
queue
drove
is
by.
crazy.
My friend, because my hair, I go to this guy's house who is a barber, right? He told me about it. So he says like, you just drive by, you can see. And I drove by and it's crazy.
It's like people
the
outside
line.
his clinics.
Yeah, really. It's just a long line.
Yep.
They're all there to get the prescription.
Yep.
get-
Correct.
So basically, and then he was telling me that you take this pill is very high chance of it
Yes.
working.
Correct. So there are certain medications that you can take. When you take it again,
It's a
Again,
double-edged sword. Oh my god.
yeah, you take it early, works very well. You take it too late, like when you have reached the Jeff Bezos time, whereby there's no hair left, then there's nothing much you can do, right?
But even if you take it early, you
Yep.
cannot. It also means that you cannot stop, right?
You can't stop, right? You need to take it, but you probably don't need to take it so often. Maybe not every day, maybe every alternate
You
days.
cycle off it for a while.
You
is
don't
it?
cycle off it. You just take it
Take a mild
consistently.
dosage,
Yeah, but you take a mild lower dosage, or you take it sparingly. That means once every 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
All right, just to
Shit.
maintain it. Yeah.
It's also. I mean, it's a.
Think of it as a vitamin. Think of it as a vitamin to prevent your hair from falling off. Because the side effects of the medication is very rare. Now, one of the known side effects is it causes lower libido, and it causes erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, which is gonna happen.
Which is going to
anyways.
happen anyway, and it only happens.
The Viagra's a
in,
thing.
yeah, it only happens in every 100 person that take it, every 100 men that take it, only 3 will have the side effect. So actually very low. 97 have no side effects.
3 is a significant number.
3 is
though.
significant, but
Yeah.
if it does happen to you, there are other ways to treat it, right?
Yes.
You can either stop it or you can take Viagra.
So I would say, let's say if you're in your maybe 30s, right, it's a no-brainer for you. Let's say if it's going south very
yeah,
bad,
if it's going south, take it.
it's a no-brainer.
Take it.
Yeah,
I will encourage all men, if you realize you're losing hair, just take it.
That's why Dr. Ranjit is he's crazy. His business is crazy.
Oh, his business is not really hair. His business is the acne.
Oh, that's the real.
He's the real money maker for him is the acne.
Why? Like,
Because he is way cheaper than all his peers.
I want to ask, like, what is he doing different than all the other dermatologists or what?
Well, I would say number one, he was one of the earliest dermatologists who set up a clinic outside of Central KL.
Okay, that's a big.
He is in Subang, whereby there was no dermatology in Subang. Everyone was based in KL region. TTDI, in Jalan Imbi, near all the big hospitals. No one
Yes.
was in Subang. He was the first one there like 30 years, 40 years ago.
Okay, and also when it comes to treatment with your body or what, right? People are they're particular with the relationship. They go back to the same person.
Word of mouth lah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
also want to preferably go back to the same person because they trust them more.
Correct.
Dr. Ranjit, it's been, how long has it been going on?
No, I think he's been there for 40 years, 30 plus years he's been there.
Okay, so also around the world is definitely started way earlier as well.
Way earlier.
Do you know what the pill is?
Yeah, the pill is something called Propecia. Well, that's the brand name. The medication
the
is actually something called finasteride, all right? But let's talk about Propecia. Propecia is the original
You
medication.
say it's the brand name.
Yeah, it's the original medication and it's the brand name. So that's the original one, Propecia. Right? So Propecia is actually a medication for prostate. That's why it's called Propecia. It's for prostate issue.
Yes.
All right. So men, when we get older, we have prostate issues.
Sure.
So it's meant for prostate
Isn't
issues.
it a woman as well?
No, woman has no prostate. So only men has prostate. All right. Women have uterus, men have prostate. All right. So prostate issue whereby men, when they get older, feel a bit you keep going to pee in a toilet in the middle of the night.
Okay.
Right. That's one of
Yes.
the early signs of prostate problem. Now, it was always meant for prostate issues, but what they have discovered that when this group of men in their 50s and 60s start taking medication for the prostate problems, their hair start to grow.
It was an accident.
It was an accident. Their hair started to grow. And then they realized, hey, something is there. Then they start reducing the dosage. All right. So for prostate issues, the Propecia we give is 5 milligrams. All right. Then the researchers eventually came out that 1 milligram, so you imagine 1/5 of the dose works for hair.
Yep.
And then they can repackage it and then sell it as
no more is
hair.
needed.
Yeah. So a lot of
Sorry, what? So what's the brand name again?
Propecia.
Propecia.
Yeah.
And what it actually is, the medicine
It's
is
actually a prostate medicine.
called?
Yeah. So Propecia is a prostate medicine.
Yeah.
All right. So it has this compound inside, or the compound is called finasteride. All right.
Finasteride.
It is a little bit long, but most people know it as Propecia.
Okay, sure.
Now, it's like diapers lah. Disposable diapers, but people call it Pampers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pampers so Propecia equals Pampers lah.
Kleenex. Yeah, same
Yeah,
thing.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you take it, then the hair loss starts to reduce and the hair starts to grow back.
Okay.
So that is first line. That's first line. You should always take that first. All right. If after taking the medication, it doesn't work or is slower than expected, then that's when you go for alternatives like
Transplant.
treatments for hair transplant. There are even specialized hair lasers, injections into the scalp to regrow hair.
Let's say Bezos in the 90s, he's already had a big bald spot.
Yeah.
If he takes the Propecia,
Nothing will happen.
Why
So
though?
basically, what happened is, over time, the hair follicles die off. So it means that, what happens is, the DHT, the dihydrotestosterone, will cause the hair to start to shrink. So from long hair, start to get smaller, shorter, it starts to become thinner, to the point whereby the hair disappears. So once the hair has disappeared from the scalp, it is no longer there.
is there a period where there's no hair growing, but you're still able to revive it with the Propecia?
Generally, we are not really certain of the period, but we usually say within 6 months to 1 year, if that area has no hair, you have to regrow it as soon as possible. If
6
it doesn't
months to
regrow,
1 year.
if it doesn't regrow, that area cannot grow anymore.
Okay, that's why you mentioned like for Bezos at 90s already, the
Yeah.
bald spot is too big. You know that if you take any pills, you
Nothing's
cannot.
gonna work.
It's really prevention. You
Yeah.
have to focus on
Yeah.
prevention. Okay.
Early intervention. You start early, then you can prevent all this stuff. And a lot of guys are actually on the medication for hair.
Yeah, they just don't say it.
Yeah, they just don't say it because from what we know is, according to studies, according to our data, right, worldwide data, 40% of men above the age of 40 have hair loss.
Okay.
Right? That means that if you imagine that 40% of men above the age of 40 have hair loss.
And
means
probably
that,
bad hair loss already.
yeah, and probably very severe hair loss. So you see any man above the age of 40, all right, 4 out of 10 of them have hair loss issues.
Yeah.
If you see that most of them don't have hair loss issues, it means most of them are
Something's
on
up.
medicine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also, right, this is something I've been observing. Men in their 40s these days, right, they look like men in their maybe late 50s last time. Wouldn't you say that people are they are maintaining their looks better?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely.
A lot of it has to do with aesthetic treatment.
Oh,
right?
no. I would
No.
say a lot of things to do with lifestyle.
Lifestyle,
I give an example.
Mm.
Men these days, we exercise quite regularly. We go to the gym quite often. If you ask your
Definitely
dad,
more than
if you ask your
different
dad
generation.
in his 40s, does he go gym? It's like, what gym?
My
There's
dad
no
started gym only when he was 40s.
Ah.
Yeah, he started in 40s.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I mean that is also out of the norm. A lot of men last time in the older generation do not go to the gym,
Can adjust this one, sorry.
right? They don't go to the gym. They go, they probably go jogging or they play golf. They rarely go to the gym. They rarely lift
Yeah.
weights. But now it's actually very common for
So
guys to
common.
lift weights, to go for, as you mentioned, to go for MMA, go
Yeah.
for kickboxing. It's now a norm.
Yep.
It's norm. So because of that, men are slowly aging slower, right? And also nowadays men take more good care of their looks and their health, and they eat better now.
So I've heard that people say, by people I mean this person over here. She mentioned that her buddy told her that she doesn't want to go to the gym anymore because if she goes to the gym and pushes and lift weights, it causes a lot of strain and then more wrinkles comes out on her face. So I kept telling her bullshit. And then at the same time I go to the gym right at Bandar Utama, and then I see this lady who is I'm willing to bet she's on some sort of testosterone or something, not just natural because she's got a lot of wrinkles and looks so manly and very buff. So I'm thinking like, oh, maybe she might be right. So yeah, what's your take on that?
Well, wrinkles don't come out when you strain most of the time. Wrinkles usually come out when you a lot of times it has something to do with us, the way we talk. Right? The wrinkles. The way we talk and the way we express emotions. We smile, we laugh. Some people tend to move their foreheads more or tend to squint more. When you move your forehead or you squint more, what happens is then the lines start to come out. Again, all these are preventable. Botox has been around for many years. It's safe. You can do it. It's not expensive.
Yeah.
Right? Now, going to the gym is really important, especially for women. Weight training or resistance training is very important for women because when they hit a certain age, especially once they menopause,
Yep.
they lose a lot of bone density.
Yep.
So in order to maintain bone density, they need to do resistance training. They need to lift weights. Now that's the one thing that's why men you don't I mean it is less common than women. Men don't really have issues with fractured bones when they get older, like hip fractures. All right, men don't get as much because men have higher bone density and we lift more weights and then we move more. But women usually at the age of 60, 70 have very high rates of hip fractures, bone fractures and stuff like that. And one of the ways to prevent it, or I would say to minimize all those issues, is to lift weights, is to go to the gym.
I mean, there's also some misconception. People think that if you're old and you lift weights, it might be bad for you because your bones are brittle, but you have to maintain it doesn't mean that you have to lift heavy. In fact, you shouldn't lift too heavy.
Correct.
But if you stop lifting, it just starts to degenerate.
Correct.
I see a lot of men in the gym lifting weights, like 80-year-old man, and I want to be like that when I'm that age. Yeah, should never stop.
No, you should never stop exercising and should never stop lifting weights, or if let's say you've always been doing exercise, you just maintain it. You should always maintain it. So
there's this observation that I've made, right? Because I've been going to a gym for 10 years already. Go almost every day. So I noticed that the trainer, right, when they are with a client, right, the client, when he stops the training sessions, he will never be in better shape than he was while he was with the PT. I'm saying 99% of the time, and I ask some PT friends as well, and they tell me like almost never. That's because when you have a PT with you, it's almost relying on the PT to motivate you, and you can't pay for a PT forever. Maybe you can.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because I would say that maybe the motivation to go to the gym is a bit different for some people. Some people when they go to the gym, their motivation is to go lose weight, to tone up and to look good. But along the way, when they were learning, they didn't make a mental note on how to do it. They just relied on the PT just telling them how to do it. So actually, the PT is meant to teach you how to maintain or how to get better after the PT sessions are finished. So as a client, you have to ask a lot of questions. Ask questions about your nutrition. Ask questions about why certain exercises are being done. Make a mental note, or even you bring a piece of paper or book, just write down, so that when the PT sessions are over, then you just follow the schedule. And then it's a lifelong learning lah. You have to go online. You have to buy books and read.
I would say that I would tell some people, if possible, they go and learn it yourself online, because if you invest that time to learn, if you have the time, you invest the time to learn, then you're kind of like getting more and more immersed into the culture. You learn more about it, and then you spend more time in the gym alone. I've got friends that they were, let's say, fair weather gymmers, right? They will tell me to go gym with them, and I'll tell them, it's like, you notice that there's very rare you'll see someone that is well built, right, that goes to the gym with friends. They go alone.
Yeah, generally they go alone.
You go with friends, distraction, that's one thing.
Correct.
Your friends are not gonna go they're not gonna have the same schedule with you.
Yes, that's right.
It's very rare you'll see two like very fit guys that go together. They would just go themselves.
Yes, correct. Because again, everyone's motivation to the gym is different. Again, as you mentioned, the schedule is different, and at the same time, right, you're probably focusing on different end goals. Some people want to bulk up. Some people just want to look good. Some people
just want to be healthy.
Some people just want to be healthy, and because of that, then the exercises that you're doing is different.
Of course,
right? The duration you stay in the gym is different. So there's other shit and I totally agree with you. The really serious gym goers usually go alone. They generally don't go with friends. They're there for 45 minutes, 60 minutes. They're in their mental space. They get the stuff done, then they jump.
I feel like it's kind of like a zen mode for me as well. You go to the gym regularly.
Yeah, I do.
alone, right?
Yeah, I usually do. So I wake up morning 6 a.m. I go to the gym.
So
until
that's
7.
it's a great time for you.
It's a great time for me to be
before the
able-
kids wake up.
before the kids wake up, before I need to send them off to
Yeah.
school.
It's a great time. So your wife say want to go with you?
No. So my sometimes so the gym is actually in my housing area.
Okay. Oh,
All right. So it's just a short
Is
walk.
it a condo?
No, we actually live in the guarded and gated area. But
Okay, okay.
So they have a clubhouse there.
Ah, okay.
So my wife goes with me as well, but I do not chat with her for the entire 60 minutes. I'm there, no eye contact, no chatting. She does her stuff. I do my own things.
Yeah,
right.
I like
when
that.
when I'm done. When I'm done with my exercise and she's still doing, I just walk home lah. I'm not gonna wait for her because I don't know what time she's done.
Yeah.
And vice versa. When she's done, she chow, she go back. But we will go together lah. But we will go together
I
usually.
say
lah.
maybe she also doesn't want to talk to you.
Yeah,
during that time.
yeah. And a
Oh,
lot of
that's-
times,
that's amazing.
she's on her headphones doing her own stuff.
Yeah. I do get annoyed when people come and talk to
Oh
me.
yeah, actually
Yeah.
I get annoying as
They
well.
come and talk, and some people, they are the talkers. They are the
yeah.
gym talkers. Because you've seen them talking to other people that they've just met, and you like try to avoid them.
I
Okay.
totally agree with you. I usually go to the gym. I try not to talk to anyone.
Yeah. I would say because yours is a clubhouse gym,
Even last time when I used to join those
the commercial ones.
those commercial ones like Fitness First and all. Again, I don't go with anyone. Even if I do bump into friends there, I just say hi for a short while, like 1 or
Same.
2 minutes. Hey, what you doing? Okay, you know what? Now I'll tell them. Oh yeah, I'll be here for the next 45 minutes. After that, then we can catch up. All right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Hey, let's go back to
Can.
the hair thing, and then after this hair thing, then I think we'll wrap up sooner. Okay. Yeah, it's already been. Oh my God, it's already been two.
Oh, it's so
Okay.
long.
Yeah, and you're a really good speaker, man.
Yeah,
and I
thanks,
would say
thanks.
it's a lot of
Thanks
experience.
thanks for having me here. Actually.
No problem. Next time again, we'll do it with Dr. Park. Okay, so back to apart from a hair transplant, which is the last resort, and then you have the pills that you can take. What's also very common that I would say this is probably the first layer of solutions that people will come across, which is hair products, hair growth products, like the liquid forms and all. What are those?
Most hair growth products don't work. Most don't work. There is one hair growth product that is a medication that you can get from pharmacy. It's called minoxidil. That one
Yes.
works. That one works because it's a medicine. But if you're talking about essential oils, you're talking about shampoos, they don't work.
But they're going to promote it as if it.
Yeah, they're going to promote it as if it works. All right.
How do they not get in trouble? Companies like that.
Well, it's because hair loss is not a disease. Right.
So they can't get in trouble.
So they can't get in trouble.
Oh, wow.
So you cannot claim to solve or to cure a disease. Example, you cannot claim to cure eczema, or you cannot claim to cure cancer. When you make such claims, you need to have scientific studies,
Because it's a
or
disease.
because it's a disease, or if not done, then the government will come after you if you make such claims to claim disease. But hair loss is not seen as a disease. It's seen more of a lifestyle issue, cosmetic problem.
What would you classify it as? Hair loss?
I classify it as a disease because I know that it is treatable, that you can use certain medication to treat it. So I say it's a disease. It's like aging, right? Aging is also a form of disease, right? There are ways to slow aging.
Slow it down.
Now you cannot prevent
You cannot
aging.
treat it.
We cannot prevent aging. We can slow it down.
Okay.
Now science, we know plenty of ways to slow down aging. Same thing as hair loss. We can slow it down. We can actually minimize the hair loss. However, because the government still don't really classify it as a disease, so as long as you can create a product, you can market it as a hair loss thing.
There you go, guys.
Most
A
don't
lot
work.
of scammers out there.
Most don't work.
A lot, because
A
you
lot.
see so many of them. But what would stand out is the people who probably experience. They will tell you minoxidil.
Minoxidil, I would say, works very well. Depending on the kind of hair loss, yeah, minoxidil works very well.
Depends on the person itself
Depends
whether
on the
it reacts
person.
to it, right?
No, I would say depends on the person and the kind of hair loss. So if it's a more genetic kind of hair loss, then you need the pills. The pills work, the Propecia.
Okay.
But if it's a hair loss from stress, is a hair loss from other
Hormonal changes, is it?
hormonal changes, yeah, then minoxidil works.
Okay, then explains a lot why it doesn't work for me.
Yeah, yeah. So in your case,
Yeah.
it's highly likely it's genetic. So if it's genetic, the pills.
I mean, I look at my dad. Yeah, so yeah.
Go straight for the pills. Trust me, you will not
Okay.
regret it. within 6 months to a year, you're gonna
I'll
have
be
a
like
head
that.
full of hair.
Yeah,
You're gonna have a head full of hair.
Yeah. Okay, I'll be in my 20s again.
Yeah, you look young.
Oh wait, I am in my 20s.
Yeah.
I'm in early 20s.
You'll be surprised, right? That nowadays, right, a lot of men actually start the medication at a very early age.
Because they know what's up. They're
Yeah.
more informed about it now.
They're more informed about it. There is more access to it, and at the same time, they realize that the hair loss is causing them to have a little bit of self-doubt, and when you have that self-doubt, then it causes performance issues in other fields.
In everything.
Yeah, in everything.
Yeah.
Right. So it affects them in a lot of different aspects. So that's why like one of my buddies is a hair transplant doctor. He only does hair transplant with Dr. Ali.
There's not many, right?
There are not many in Malaysia. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them that full time do hair transplant.
Only 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And
everyone, the others do part time. Maybe another
Yeah.
10 they will do part time. It's like, oh, they see skin, then they do part time hair transplant. But these 4 to 5 doctors do purely hair transplant. And he's been telling me most of my patients these days are in their 20s and in the early 30s. It used to be.
That's crazy.
It used to be 40s. Now it's the early 20s they come in already.
That's
Means that
shocking.
A little bit of boarding spot, come in transplant.
I mean, I guess they're also smart lah. If they can afford it, yeah, then
Yep.
you're taking prevention.
Yep.
They're all based in KL lah.
They all no, not really. Some actually come from outstation.
No, I mean the doctors.
The doctors are based in KL.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the
Okay.
patients come from all over Malaysia.
Of course.
And even some from other countries as well. Because let's say from Singapore, they find it's much cheaper in Malaysia.
We got competitive pricing.
Yeah,
is
we
it?
got competitive pricing, and then at the same time, if it's in Singapore, they charge 5 Sing dollars per hair. Here they charge 5 ringgit per hair.
Yeah.
So it's a no-brainer for them to
No-brainer.
come over. Now the reason why Singaporeans come over instead of going to Thailand is because number one, we're nearer. Number two, culture-wise, food-wise, everything is very similar.
So, I still remember the first few moments, right, or few months where I realized that I'm losing hair, right. It's like, it was very tiny, very, you barely could see, but just then, right, I really felt like the whole world knows, something like that. Like, you can feel it, you're very conscious about it, but then you start to realize, like, it's a very natural process. Everyone goes through it, and eventually you become desensitized to the feeling of it, and you kind of get used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
But if I can feel that way, I'm sure a lot of people felt it, right, while they were going through it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's it. I like to end with this last question. Okay, Dr. Ingky, advice to 20 years old Dr. Ingky.
My advice to myself is to fail fast, fail quickly. All right, fail often, fail quickly. Fail as often as you can, fail as fast as you can, learn from mistakes and move on. Because like it or not, successes are built on failures. You have to fail. If you have never failed, you'll never succeed. So, whatever I have now is all built on failures.
Okay, that's brilliant. Very cliche, but very true.
Very cliche, but it's very true.
Yeah. There's a saying: you win or you learn. There's no losing.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Dr. Ingky from Mediskin Studio. Check him out on Dr. Ingky on Instagram. Mediskin Studios. Skin Fix on YouTube. You've probably seen him around. Check out, and also guys, here's a little gem for you guys. Check out his podcast, the Two Docs podcast. Yeah. He does it with a good buddy of his, Dr. Ali. Sorry, what does Dr. Ali specialize in?
Yeah, he's the one doing the hair transplant. So Dr. Ali is the full-time hair transplant doctor.
I've had him on here as well.
Yes. Now, probably the next time we could invite him on.
Yeah. So Dr. Ali and Dr. Ingky, they have a podcast, the Two Docs podcast. Check it out. Over 100+ episodes, all interesting topics. They speak well, very fun, and it's not too serious, okay? And yeah, Dr. Ingky, it's a pleasure having you on. I have a feeling I'll see you again on this podcast next time.
Hopefully.
And anything else you want to say?
No. So remember to always like, subscribe, and as well as comment below whether you found this interesting or what other topics.
That's my job.
I'm helping him out today.
Okay, yeah, guys. If you've listened up to this point, I'm very sure you have no troubles hitting the subscribe button, the like button, leave a comment. Maybe it's a bit asking for a little bit more, but yeah, just do it. Thank you. I appreciate it a whole lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Give it up for Dr. Ingky.
See you.
was great.
Thanks.
Missing my homies, I'm missing my oldies, my brothers, my cronies. We all went to court, but before only courts that we knew were the ones where we were shooting three, selling Kobe. To a legend, rest in peace to the old me, rest in peace to my brothers, rest in peace to my whole team. The oldest, I'm missing my shawty.